Manchester United are one of the most decorated clubs in the world, but in the last 10 years, they've only won 6 trophies. Disgraceful, with a lot of speculation around Ten Hag at the moment, making Manchester United a really horrible looking team. With a struggle in the league and players saying they're not wanting it enough, we're going to interfere, purchasing a bit of United, as we are in charge of hiring and firing, taking Manchester United over for 10 whole seasons. Yes, people, here is Ten Hag. He still has his job at United, but we can be the ones to change that, as we have control over managers. And this team overall, well, doesn't look really awful, but we're going to have to do things with it, as you will see what those are right now. As we're going to spin this wheel on the first team and reserve players, and whichever first team and reserver it lands on, we must keep. So everyone in the starting squad and bench are on this wheel, so who can we not sell in the entirety of the 10 seasons? It is going to land on Delict. Okay, so one of the new signings at United cannot leave the club. Not a bad choice to get for the first team, but the reserves, and there's less of them. Who is going to be the reserve we keep? Is that going to be Mount? It is, right, okay. I was hoping for Lenny Euro, but we already have a centre-back, so Mount and Delict. They don't have to be first team, but these two cannot leave the club, because let's be honest, in 10 seasons, the squad's going to change a lot. As we have 125 million, no aims, no trophies in mind, but there will be a way of measuring trophies for the future. As you can see on screen, there's an award ceremony ranking stage, because the team with the most trophies will always be in that rank 1 slot, and then the team we are rebuilding, say United is today, they will be on the current rank, and then compared to the team we've won the most trophies with. It'll be clearer once we do more, as there's also a clean sheet list, a top assister list, and a top scorers list. As throughout these 10 season rebuilds, we're going to see which player in world football will keep the most assists, keep the most clean sheets, and score the most bloody goals. As let's get into rebuilding, shall we? Firstly, looking at the young players, we are going to start an academy trying to build a class of 24, like the class of 92, which is Gary Neville, and the likes, but we do have a wonder kid here, Kobe bloody Minu, the star of the show, as we've got 2 players with the blocked offers, of course, and we've only got 2 transfer listed. We've got Ericsson and Casemiro, both aging players, as a lot of youngsters on the loan list, including Yoro, but also Malacia and Anthony, both 24. They don't fit into my team, as the tactic is going to be gegenpressing, counter-attacking style, and an aggressive approach. I don't think Man United are too aggressive. We're going to stick it high with a 70 line, and that's it. We cannot change the tactics again, because if we want to change the tactics, that means we have to get a new manager and sack Erik Ten Hag. But anyway, less talking about sacking and more doing with these youngsters. We've got Arlo John through the academy, Kingsley Ali, and I'm going to promote both of those 2, but then the rest of them can go. I'm going to reset this academy, getting good scouts to good countries. As the first scout, Partridge, a 4-star going to Argentina, then a 5-star experienced Borisenko going to England. Then we've got another 5-star this time, Camilleri from Malta going to Portugal to find the next Ronaldo. As speaking of old Ronnie, how's he doing? Right, an 11-month contract at Al Nassr, and 39 years old. Now, under Erik Ten Hag, I don't think Ronaldo would ever return to United, but maybe, with our scout, we could find the next regen of him. That's what I look forward to. As Juve, the first bid for a player, Luke Shaw? No. I'm not going to spend all day with these transfers. We've got 10 seasons ahead of us, as the first player actually leaving us is Ericsson back to London in West Ham and give him Mount game time. That's the plan I had in mind for him, as then our other transfer listed player, Casemiro, with no pace, has gone to Leicester for 30 million. The perfect move for him, as Harry Amas goes out on a 12-month loan. And also Anthony getting a move to Crystal Palace. We've got Ethan Wheatley getting a move to Antwerp, who have got his services. And finally, Malacia, a 2-year loan back to the Netherlands. That is a lot of players out, and 166 million to spend. We probably could make one signing. I don't want to go gung-ho season 1. And Duvan Zapata. Now, I know it's not what you're expecting. Sorry to disappoint, or am I? Because if we get him in, we can loan Højlund or Xerxes out, and the other one will grow off the bench. He fits the formation, the highest rated, has a playstyle ++, going straight into the team, and will keep himself happy there. And it's allowed me to loan out Højlund to Aston Villa just for a year to see how he progresses away from Manchester United. A very long start to a very long career, but you can see we're getting prepped for it. We've got some youth coming through the academy, Ricardo Marino and also Diogo Gomez. Both have made progress, so I've promoted both of them straight away. And speaking of progress, we're on a race to 50k subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button and the like as well, as this is what United looks like. And hey, we've had some changes. De Ligt, one of our best players, who is a player we have got to keep, and then Buendia. Why is he in between the sticks for us? Well, it's because Napoli paid the release clause for Andre Onana, so Ten Hag's lost his goalkeeper, but will he lose his job? Oh my days, and we've lost Xerxes! When did he go out on loan? Okay, that is a mistake. I did loan lease both players, but they should have time to grow. 9th in the Premier League. It has got worse for Erik Ten Hag. No European football, and we do need to win trophies here. Finishing below Wolves, Newcastle, Villa. Disgusting, as he can't even win the Community Shield. But he does win an FA Cup, so hey, at least we've got that trophy. He doesn't win a Carabao, with West Ham beating Birmingham and beaten by Stockport, a Manchester-based rival. Europa League phase went fairly good for United, but also hammered by Lazio 4-1, with our top scorer Bruno Zapata, a decent signing actually, but still, is this good enough for Ten Hag to keep his job? And I have decided enough is enough. An FA Cup didn't save Eric. We have got Thomas Tuchel in as United manager. Will he last the next couple of seasons? I don't know, as this team still needs a lot of work, and definitely with goalkeepers. Tom Heaton's retired, Onana obviously got bought, and Buendia last year only kept 4 clean sheets. As also a striker's needed, because Højlund, 81, Xerxes, 82, Zapata, don't need him no more. And no standout youth, apart from Lenny Euro, now 19-year-old, but could probably use another loan. Won't get played this year, as our first scout to Iceland, our second to Kosovo, and our last one. Of course, we've got to have a scout in England. See what gets found at only 148 million. I mean, we did win an FA Cup, and we did finish 9th in the Prem. So let's kick things off with a goalkeeper we think can last. And Guilherme Restes, 20-year-old, 81 rated, currently at Atalanta, and we are trying to youth this squad up, so we'll offer 37 million. Please be Tuchel's first signing. Oh, 54. I mean, we do have the money, and it still gives us enough for another player, so I am going to go and accept that. From Onana to Restes, what looks like a bad rating change is surely a good one for the future of this football club. Ooh, and while selecting him, I completely forgot about this man. Jadon Sancho is back in United colours. Does he get a chance? I mean, his contract is expiring, but he's higher rated than Garnacho, Diallo, Rashford. I think he gets his chance, as he's just signed a 4-year deal, as there's only one player expiring, or a few, including Harry Maguire. Who isn't the first one sold? Of course, it's Duban Zapata. Going to Chelsea. I don't know why they want that player, but they want anyone, as Sociedad want anyone, it seems. As Aston Villa help us out again, from Højlund to Euro. As speaking of Højlund, PSV for 2 years. Took me by surprise, but I didn't take him off the loan list. He's joining Malasia, and he's still a bit low rated. Gives him time to grow, as I think a striker perfect for a year or two whilst him and Xerxes grow is Ronaldo. That almost rhymed, as I'm willing to pay £20 million for a 40-year-old striker. Come on, let him come on. As here he is, playing for Tuchel's tricky Reds in the Premier League, and we cannot finish 9th with the signing of Ronaldo. As if you didn't know the kit I'm wearing, it is an OG Man United one, and guess who's on the back? Yes, that man we've just signed. Picture of the kit on screen, and that is the one that I'm wearing. As the youth players this year, we've actually got some decent ones. Hugo Clayton keeps on growing, Jonsson from Iceland, Bustamante, Ortega, and Townsend looks decent. They'll all be loaned next year as Ronaldo hasn't gone down and the team is just going up. Look at Restes, 87! Tuchel's 2 signings doing absolutely amazing. He's the second best player. He's only been here a year, and he's only 21, as Ronaldo our top scorer, with them Bruno, Agate, and Garnacho getting up there. And more clean sheets this year, as yes, Champions League football. No, it is not a trophy, but we do have 10 seasons to win it. Or 8 from now on, as we still can't beat City in the Community Shield, as the FA Cup is actually not won this year. Seems we've sacrificed trophies to actually do better in the Premier League, as Chelsea win the Carabao, so yep, it's trophyless in England. But we did get Europa League through winning the FA Cup and 6th in the league, to only be beaten by actually the eventual winners Benfica. 6-4 ain't good, and it's got me thinking about our defense a little bit. Martinez, of course, and Delict 87, but where is Kobe Mainu? Why do people buy our players as his release clause is paid by Brighton in our division? No, I cannot believe that is even happening to us. We're probably going to get him back at some point, as Collier could step in, or even better, Clayton, but I do feel he needs a loan deal, plus he's not defensive enough as it is, but we can rely on this academy a little. It's getting better. Look at this. Look how many youngsters we have at the team. Now, I know they're not getting used, and we do only have 10 seasons, but the second half of this rebuild is going to be absolutely stacked, I believe, and plus we can sign regen players if they are available. As 202 million, and that's without winning a trophy. That is the power of the top 4. So we are now in the Champions League with Mr. Champions League. Ronaldo is up front for us, as now down here in the reserves. Where is Højlund? Guessing still out on loan. But anyway, Xerxes, 84 rated. We've got a lot of wingers getting better. I mean, Anthony's now an 80. Lenny Yoro is now 81, so he's getting better as a youngster and can probably stay on our bench, as I don't want to get rid of many players. With release clauses leaving us short, I'm just going to focus on signings and youth players, as our first scout to Guatemala and our second to Costa Rica, trying to find the next Keylor Navas. Don't need a keeper, and we also don't need a CDM. That's the reason I'm going for Locatelli, 28 years old already, because A, we can afford him, trying to pay just 51 million, and plus, once he's retiring or getting old, Mainu can come back. As we've paid a little bit more for him, but we've got the money. We're Man United, so 58.3 is enough for the Italian. As I know we can't really see ratings, but him and Agate, what a partnership. Ronaldo up front with 2 young strikers to grow, and they actually need to grow right now because Ronaldo is retiring, and we're not buying another striker. We are going for a left back. And Joriel Hato, now I know it's decreasing the rating again, and PSG really want him. He's at the Europa League winners Benfica, and he helped beat us last year, but £50 million for the youngster gives us a very stable future with him and Lenny Yoro. So good for the future, in fact, it's got me building a reserve squad, which I think can outlast our current team and maybe be the future. We've got Delicto, we've got to keep, we've got Restes, Yoro, Hato, Garnacho, Ahmad, Xerxes, Clayton. We're definitely stacked for the future seasons. And how have we done in Ronaldo's last season? He's kept the 85 rating, 42 years old now. Will he reach his goal record? I'm kind of hoping so. Of course, we just built that team for the future, but at the moment, we're living in the present with Restes, one of our young players, up to a 90 rating. And Ronaldo bows out very nicely with 37 goals. Fernandes, his Portuguese teammate, 25. 14 assists. He's the player leading the way on all the goals and assist tallies, as our youngsters now Clayton. Could he be the new Mainu? A 73 rating at 18 years old maybe means we don't need Mainu back, as we also have these players, Harry Amas, 20, Wheatley 21, but they look very good, and they will be around the squad. The squad that finishes second again, which is closer to the top spot, but come on, Tuchel, you've only won 1 trophy. I'll make that 2. Of course, the Community Shield won on penalties, but we don't count that as we lost in the FA Cup finale. Also, the Carabao Cup semi-finals to Newcastle, who went on to win it against Bournemouth in the Eddie Howe derby. So yeah, only a Community Shield, which I don't really like to count as a trophy. It's just a big 50p piece, as we were the highest English club in the Champs League, getting through to the round of 16 straight away, where we lost to Napoli. We cannot be losing to Naples. They'll have enjoyed that result with Andre Onana, their goalkeeper, and also Scott McTominay, who our last manager got rid of. Maybe time for an early step. Season 4 of Man United. Do we take this team to the future already? And what I mean by that is selling a few of these older players in the defense, like Luke Shaw is 31, Martinez 29. We've got Hato, we've got Euro, both 21 and queuing up. We've got Diallo on the bench, kind of wasting potential. Also down here, Harry Amas, I want to get him kind of near the squad, probably sell Malacia, and Højlund is back as a striker. But first things first. Now, a player Tuchel has managed before, Mount, we have to keep at this club for that objective. Spinning the wheel means he stays. I'm definitely giving him a wage increase, and that is our budget at the top. 190 million roughly. Surely to grow though, as we're selling a lot of players for money, including Rashford, Mazraoui, Malacia, and then a few young players. Anthony obviously has to be on that list, and also Victor Lindelof. No use for the older players, or fringe players I'd call them, as Joe Hugill is the first out in this Tuchel revolution, with Malacia going to Man City, Dangor out the door to the Baggies West Brom, and we've pulled off this very strange move because this is an outgoing. An incoming at the same time, because we've swapped Mazraoui with Arsenal for this Lucas James kid. Very good potential. I think this is the first time we've actually got a good deal in a swap deal, or I've ever seen one in career mode. 18, 80 rated. Look at the youngsters on the bench. Perfect for the future, along with Dilict, who we have to keep, as I'm looking at another keeper maybe. Then again, Restes is young, and I think it's got to be left back. We've got Harry Amos and Hato, so maybe no, we don't go there. Locatelli I said wouldn't stay, and I don't think Clayton is ready, so yeah, another midfielder, and maybe a switch of formation to something like this. Now, Tuchel does like the 4-2-3-1, but 4-3-3 attack is basically the same, but the wingers further forward. As it's not too kind on Agate, but it does work for Locatelli, and wingers now Garnacho and Sancho are last chances. They have to improve, as there's Clayton leaving to Freiburg, and Anthony's out the door, so maybe we do need another winger. But to be fair, on the bench, we don't have a midfielder at all, and Kobe Mainu now, do we bring him back straight away? I don't know. I think Locatelli's actually got a year left in the first team, so I'm going to Italy again for a bench player in Lewis Miley. With Dan Ashworth behind the scenes, one of the directors for Manchester United, coming from Newcastle, I think it's realistic as Rashford to Newcastle. Kinda worked as a swap, although Miley is joining from Roma, and he's another young player that fits into this young team we're building. And our academy this year, well, you can see how good it's done, or bad it's done, because we haven't promoted any players that we found. A dreadful intake, so we're going to have to work on that in the future, but we've got Bustamante, 74, in the Championship. Hugo Clayton, 79 now, after his loan at Freiburg. Then Harry Amas, who's 81 at Spurs. Probably needed a fill-in left-back, so I didn't mind loaning him out, as who's our highest rated at the club now? It's Restes, the keeper. Brilliant. I hope he's got clean sheets, because of course we've got to rank the clean sheet holders as top scorer, and top assister is Fernandes and Garnacho. May end up it at the end, as Højlund's trying to get a comeback on, and Sancho, who of course we have to change the position of. We've got a few of these to do, as Locatelli's gone up 1 to a centre mid. Sancho stays the same, but Garnacho goes up 1. Also, Mikel Jonsson, another youth player, doesn't move. And Amad Diallo goes to an 83, as he's a player Tuchel really hasn't hasn't enjoyed. He's already 25, as this is our first team. One change to make straight away. Hato in for Luke Shaw, as we've got a few 90s in the squad now. 4, I believe. I'd say the team now is on par with City, but obviously not. Although 6 points off the league, it is a 4th place finish. So yeah, we're getting closer to top spot as the FA Cup. We lost in the finale on penalties to Everton. Starting to bottle that one as the bottle jobs bottle the final of the Carabao Cup as Champions League, 22nd in the groups. All league, I am bamboozled, and Tuchel loses to his former club, 2-1 Bayern Munich. Is it time Tuchel goes? I thought the tactic would work. Right, it's telling me we need more players, we probably need to go more youth, and we definitely need more trophies. As can this be classed as the halfway point? I don't think just yet, because it's only the 5th season, not the 5th ending of the season. £276 million. Right, Manchester United, we're going to turn this into a movie with the players we sign. Because genuinely this is getting good. And Lenny Euro, he's almost into the squad. Martinez is our captain. 30-year-old centre-back. I'm going to actually change that, and I'm going to give it to De Ligt because he's 28-year-old, and of course we can't get rid of him. If only we could Mason Mount, because obviously he's not the greatest of players, because Bruno Fernandes, 33-year-old now, needs some competition, as he's 1 week away from an 83. He's still going to turn 30 soon. Mason Mount is wasted. Even Lewis Miley's better. He's already an 83, so yes, probably midfield is again what we focus on. And that's the cam position I'm thinking, as Bilal El Khanous, he's at Girona in this game, but I believe Leicester in real life. So I'd like to bring him in, but of course we still let players go out, as I've sold Bayern Deer because I want to get another backup keeper. Restes needs competition, but for now it's all about this man. We have signed the cam from Girona to hopefully back up Fernandes. Very good signing, as here's Luke Shaw leaving the club, going to Brighton, hopefully in a bit of a swap deal. Because they say never go back, but I really want Kobe Minu stole from under my nose on a release clause. Stupid release clause. Give me back my wonder kid. I will throw as much money as I have to get him back to the club, as they want Manuel Locatelli. Well, that couldn't have worked out any better. Take Locatelli back to Brighton with you. Welcome back, Kobe. Oh boy, is it good to have this man back. Straight into that midfield, as I am loving that diamond we've created. And I've tried something different this year regarding the youth. But first off, welcome back, Kobe. You haven't played at all because you can't train as a centre mid. It just won't bloody let you. Hate that bit of a glitch, and hey, we'll blame it on Thomas Tuchel as well, because if he doesn't win trophies, his job is definitely under risk. As when I talked about youth as well, trying something different, I didn't send any on loan. I actually kept them here like Clayton. Probably kept Minu out the team, and at 20, already 84 rated, we finally have a youth player worthy. Just a shame about Miley now, because Miley's going to compete with our youngster as Restes, 24. I actually didn't bring a backup in. Went all out in Kobe, but we can definitely get a backup next year. Some good ratings around the squad. As goal scorers this year, Rasmus, 19. Good, very good, but the player I'm actually kind of concerned around is Xerxes. Only 86 rated. Is it time we get rid of him? Because he's not contributing to goals. We already have a third choice striker, Ethan Wheatley, who's 79 rated. So yeah, striker wise, we are definitely figuring things out, as a 6th place finish could be the end for Tommy Tuchel. 2 trophies so far, 2 in 2 managers. So yeah, it's not going good. We were out early on in the cup. Portsmouth round 3. That is like Ten Hag losing to Stockport 5 seasons ago. It could be time to go, Thomas. As the Carabao Cup 3rd round, Coventry beat us on penalties, and an exit in the league phase of the Champions League probably does it. No more Thomas Tuchel means the return of a club legend. Wayne Rooney is manager of Manchester United. He's entrusted with this squad, and the main reason I want to bring him in is for a striker. He should have experience in picking strikers out, which is obviously what we need, and I went straight up to signing contracts. Now, Bruno Fernandes, has decided to retire. So we are without Bruno next season. We do have El Canoe somewhere, and Mason Mount, of course. He's 30 himself. But no running away, of course. There's 189 million after contracts, which are expensive, and we do want to keep this academy growing. If we can find anyone half decent, as Portugal, Ireland, England. They're the countries we're sending scouts to, as I want a player from one of those nations. And that is Evan Ferguson at Bournemouth. Now, that's the rivals of Brighton, where he originally is playing football. Little bit injury prone, and 86 rated at 24. Now, that's 4 years younger than Xerxes, and I'm giving Højlund a last chance. As here's Wayne's first signing as Manchester United head coach. A good signing to make. As is that Mainu leaving the club? Seriously, Cobby? Going to bloody Spurs this time? Screw him. It's another release clause in his contract, but he always wants to go. Yes, he didn't get played, but he can't train as a centre mid. I'm not wasting my time on him again. So Louis Smiley's in the squad. We've got El Canoe, who isn't a centre mid, but of course Clayton. And you might have caught a glimpse right there how bad our goalies was on the bench. And that's why I'm signing Caprile and ex-Man United Johnston. Kind of a Tom Heaton idea with that, man. We've got 4 goalkeepers now, and that bench is stacked for the future and also for now. And the last thing I want to do, it's actually not Man United related at all, is see where Plymouth are. Okay, Rooney kept them in the championship. Yeah, good from Wayne Rooney to keep them obviously in their league, but I don't know if it's enough to qualify him as Man U manager. But Wazza's heroics have won Man United the Premier League. Who needs Tuchel? Who needs Eric? We have done it with Wazza. Finally our 3rd trophy, but the FA Cup doesn't look any better. We just can't get through it. Don't tell me we lost to a championship side. Bristol City on penalties. I'm telling you guys, championship sides just love to win on penalties this game. As same here in the Carabao. Now, they might not be in the championship, but I know they did go down. Brentford in the quarterfinals. That of the Carabao, as I'm checking for us in the Champions League. We're not in the Champions League. Thanks, Thomas Tuchel. You really did doom us, as hey, Højlund at 90, so the faith in Rasmus, but did he score enough goals? I'm hoping so, as Miley's played well, Dallow's been in this team all the time. Our defence, 3 of 4, have still been here from season 1. Maybe that's something to change, although we're not in a rush to change anything, as Resta's still the best player. Garnacho, 93 rated. Best goalie and best winger, as Garnacho did get 20 goals, but finally, Højlund up there with his scoring. Now we've showed we can compete. Now we're into season 7. This is prime trophy time as our youth getting better. Bustamante, the next Garnacho it seems, 20-year-old, 80 rated, needs to train as a winger. And also Wheatley. He came through the academy at the start of the very save, of course, as Clayton's an 86. He's surely the Kobe Minu replacement. And also Diego Dallo. He's 31, so Lucas James, 21-year-old. He looks the Dallo replacement. As from Dallo to Diallo, Ahmad is the next one I'm looking at, 27-year-old. Only reached an 84. The only thing about this man is his versatility, as if he does train as a left wing, he can play right wing, left wing, cam. But really it's the same with Sancho if we trained him as a right wing, and I'm pretty sure if we trained him as a cam, yep, he could play every position. And besides, we need an actual cam, as Mason Mount is in the team at the moment. And yes, we've got to keep him, but he's not actually staying in there. El Canoe can stay there, but only an 87 rating. It's not living up to Bruno, so I think we find another one. Oh, Bellingham would be nice, of course, but he's linked a little bit to Liverpool. So maybe the star man could be Javi Simons, the Dutchman. A very Eric Ten Hag-esque signing, and we don't have much money this year with our failure in Europe. I'm going to offer 110 million. Oh, and luckily enough, that is accepted. Very nice. Welcome to the club, Javi Simons of PSG. Almost all the money gone now on what you can only describe as a mega team, making me think we changed the tactics to go very aggressive in this formation. Look at Højlund as well. He can play every role, as I'm going to change him. I think 25 goals is good, but I'm going to make him a bit more advanced. Bring him back into play a little bit, and then a shadow striker in Simmons, with both wingers being wide now so they don't interfere with the play in the middle. And I'm also just thinking, now we do have enough places on the bench. Amad Diallo, this is your final chance. And what a way of taking your chance, Amad. 84 rated, still on the bench, 28, not done anything. The rest of the team I'm hoping has, because we've got loads of 90 rateds. Our fullbacks and one midfielder, so that means we've got 8 90s, plus a lot of good players only on the bench. Evan Ferguson, and the most mistreated man in football, Lenny Yoro. Been here all 8 seasons, a youngster at the start with great potential but still not in the team because that wheel landed on Delict, meaning we had to keep him, as Ferguson's outscored Højlund. Garnacho scoring almost 30 with 20 assists. We haven't checked our eye on top scorers and also clean sheets, but Restes, my days, 3 assists for the goalkeeper. Playing extremely well, as we are now on top. That is 2 seasons in 2. Wazza has won the Premier League. I think he's safe in a job, as it's also a Community Shield win, and also an FA Cup win, the first season with 2 trophies. Call it a treble if you want, but Fulham win the Carabao Cup, which again you can call we lost a game on penalties in. It's always bloody penalties, as now top of the Champions League phase. Unbeaten Napoli 4-3, what a turnaround. Finally winning games, but then another penalty defeat, this time to Chelsea, oh my days. Todd Bowley's beaten us. What a shame to admit, as now Diallo offers a lot of positions. But I'm also thinking, with his rating, can we move to this man? Same rating as Mason Mount, and he can't leave the club. We've got 3 seasons left. Can we try and find a place on the bench for Mace? I'd love it if we could, as I haven't been checking the budget as much recently, but 92 million for winning the Prem twice in a row. I know we've gone Wayne Rooney, and I know we've spent a lot of money already, but is that really enough? With the team we have and the formation we're playing? All the trophies we're winning, the formation doesn't change the amount of money you get, as Clayton I want to get in the team, and Ferguson seems too good to waste. Also, Bustamante, he could maybe get better than Diallo, but of course we're focusing on Mount, and we're focusing on new signings. With these players we have at the moment, I'm not only focusing on getting better, I'm focusing on a player maybe winning the Ballon d'Or, such as Garnacho, I don't know why I just called him Garni, and Højlund 92, he's only 28, a few more years in him. As there is some players getting older, of course Mason Mount does not leave the club, he's tied down to a long-term contract, but Martinez isn't. Also Diogo Dalot, so I think this is the point in the save with 3 more seasons left. We change our defense. We need to win that Champions League, so Yoro into the team, and also, if I can actually scroll down to him, James, who's a lot younger, making the defense on paper weaker, but they're younger, so they can grow. And of course, I'm still going to look at young players. Don't think we're done with youth yet. Hang in there, guys. We've still got 3 seasons. It's only season 8, this season and 2 more. And we do have youth through the academy. Ibrahim Wallace, I'm going to try and loan out for a season. And same with Isaac Wiat. We just need a spiking growth to make those lads unstoppable, as the first one has been stopped. The first one out the club, that is. Dallo is not staying. And also Arlo John, yes, we're still loaning out existing players and selling them, as the butcher Martinez is gonzo, leaving 214 million, which I want to go on a big player as we go for the Champions League, and Leo Rizzo. I won't comment how funny his name is, I'll just go ahead and sign him. He comes for the bench, only 23 years old, and limits the amount of defenders so Yoro and James can grow. As it's getting silly now, Wazza. It is seriously getting predictable. He just wins league titles. It is what he does. Manager or player, he just gets the job done with United. As the Community Shield, it's a 3-1 win over Liverpool. In the FA Cup, guess what? Round 5 penalty loss. But the Carabao Cup, I believe, for the first time is in the cabinet. That is a very nice feeling. Thank you very much for another trophy. As in the league phase, it's 3rd, not 1st. Avoiding that playoff round. Unbeaten by Sevilla. Now, I don't know what to do. How does our team get better? Yes, we weaken the defense, but is it really weaker? Because Yoro and James both 91 rated, Miley 89, one of the best teams we've ever seen. And by the way, actually, Clayton on the bench, 90 rated youngster alert, full 90 overall squad. And scoring goals for fun, even Clayton got bloody 30 as Højlund's the top scorer. And we need a Ballon d'Or winner. Never had a Ballon d'Or winner, which surprises me a little bit, and we need one next season, with this being our penultimate season. The last one is upcoming, so we'll only see the winner next year, and we haven't had one so far. Can it be Alejandro Garnacho? Now 29 years old, look at the stats, he's all in the 90s. It's bloody brilliant. Or Højlund, or even Jadon Sancho. Or this guy I didn't see. I loaned him to Inter last year. Rafa Bustamante is 89 overall already. That's why you never give up on youth. We've got a 70 rated. That's pretty decent. But this man, Bustamante, oh my days. Where's he come from? Straight on the bench for Diallo, who we can sell. And then Mason Mount. I hate that we've stuck with him. Honestly, 33-year-old right now. And I want to banish him to the reserves, as we've got 125 million. Now, we need to spend all of that. We need to go for some last-minute trophies. So I've thought carefully about who we sell. And we're not selling Delict, he's just done that bloody himself. And Ahmad, we're going to try and sell. Wheatley just has to go. We're halting his career. Oh my days, and I didn't expect Liverpool. He's just been on loan to Everton. And also, is Manchester United Academy proven? Weird move if you ask me, as the final player leaving United permanently should be Amad Diallo. And immediately my head just sways straight towards Arnau Martinez. Now, I know he's not a central midfielder, he's a right back. But when you look at the team again, right back is a position we have zero cover at all in. So we're going to get another right back. And we might as well get another midfielder. So here's Arnau Martinez first. Definitely needed to prioritise him. Followed up with Patino, Ellis Fisher, and also Seb Boselli. Oh, but hang about. What's this? Is that Garnacho? Have we won a Ballon d'Or in this season where we won nothing? Okay, I was expecting it next season, but Alejandro Garnacho has won the world's best player title. If only, you know, he could partner that with an actual big trophy for the team, not just himself, as it looks like Clayton hasn't played and Ugarte just never changes. He'll stay a CDM till the day he stops playing football. As the team overall, though, we've got to say it's incredible, really. Stumped on words for it then, as we're going to make a change. We're going to put Yoro on the left. I don't know why I never did that. And also Bustamante. Swap them over. We've got two Argentinians, a Danish, a Dutch, and a whole lot of good players. Seriously, look at these ratings, and we haven't won a Champions League. We won one with Ajax the other day. Easily, really. Didn't take long at all, as 47 goals for Rasmus, Garnacho with 24, Clayton even with 20. And I don't get this. Restes, the goalkeeper, I keep looking at his clean sheets, but I keep seeing assists for him. It is bizarre as Manchester United, 4 on the trot. It is a United era game. This 10-season rebuild got really, really tasty all of a sudden. As the Community Shield won, on penalties, we win. And we win the FA Cup, making it 2 trophies this season. But not the Carabao again. It is Manchester City's. By the way, West Ham in another final, as look at the English dominance. 3rd in the league phase, behind City and Chelsea. Beating Barcelona. Could this be the year for us? Because then we beat Leverkusen, and then Madrid. 6-3, oh my days. So we're still not winning the Champions League. We got further than ever. If only we could have had one of the other teams. Villarreal or Frankfurt, oh my days. What a journey it could have been, but just ruined at the end. But now, our final season. And this is it, lads. From Ten Hag, Ronaldo to Tuchel, Rooney, Garnacho's world dominance. And this team, which we're going to go out on and hopefully win the Champions League with, as I don't know about signings. Honestly, we're good enough as it is at the moment, as if you're still watching the video at the moment, comment the word Garnacho. Just the word Garnacho, maybe in speech marks or something, because if I know you've done that, I know you're a certified legend. And no need to sign contracts up as only 83 million. Are you having a laugh? What if someone decides to leave us? Oh my days. And I've just spoken into existence. Look at this. Lenny Yoro. He's ditched us for Leipzig. His release clause wasn't much. And Hato has gone as well. We've lost 2 key players. Oh my days. What a start to this season. To be fair, I was getting a bit bored of them as one of our OGs comes in, Delict, and Harry Amas, one of the OG Academy players, who I was hoping the wheel landed on at the start when we got Mason Mount, who's 72 rated. Still, we've got decent bench players. Fisher I didn't speak upon. We signed him from Blackburn, and also Patino. Signed him, I believe, from Turkey? Or the Netherlands, I don't know, as this time we go in Sociedad for a Brazilian, Rafael Moreira. Should be quite affordable. As now I think about it, this man could actually be our last signing, as we haven't made many at all. We've in fact kept a lot of base players. The rules was only to keep 2, but look, Højlund, Garnacho, Agate, Amas, Delict, Sancho, Xerxes. We've also got some down here, of course, in Mason Mount, and weirdly enough, this keeper, Vitek. As if you're wondering how some OGs that we let go have done in their careers, these are the ones currently still playing that I could find at the moment. Bayendir, Wheatley, Ahmad, Dallo, Mainu and Martinez all really excelling in their careers. But it's our own squad we focused on, as I've put Miley in for Agate just because he is in that position, and I'm just going to flick around tactics. Gonna make Garnacho cut inside because he's on the left now and he doesn't like the left. And it also looks like he doesn't like winning Ballon d'Ors for a second time, with this guy Waters winning it. Honestly, where's he come from? If I would have seen him sooner, you know Højlund would be out of there. But I think that's a fairly decent team, apart from Amas's rating. Our 10th season ends in very good fashion, I'd say. We've got a 90 rated striker on the bench, an 89, another 90. We've gone through 3 different managers in Ten Hag, Tuchel and Rooney, and we have got a whole bunch of different players, but some existing ones. Højlund, for example, and Garnacho, for example, who has just been bloody incredible. 2 OGs, top scorers. And that takes us on to our awards, which of course comes before our trophies, as our top scorer overall is Rasmus Højlund. Takes that rank 1 spot as well. He got 200 goals. Garnacho got 194. This was very close, this one. But assists weren't very close. This goes to Garnacho with 119, as Agate was in 2nd place. Surprised to see no Bruno there, as our top clean sheet keeper was, of course, Restes with 115 clean sheets. That for me is very hard to beat, as look who wins the league, easily winning another trophy with Villa, Fulham and West Ham top 4. Unbelievable, as no Community Shield, no FA Cup as well, but we do win a Carabao Cup, and that's a 2-0 win over Bristol City. As the Champions League, yep, no doubt we do finish high in the league phase, as we did beat Wolfsburg, we squeezed past Bayern Munich, and we beat Borussia Mönchengladbach, getting Bilbao in the final and beating them finally. 10 seasons deep with United, we get our final trophy, and honestly, I've lost count in my head, so the number will be on screen, and that is how many trophies we've won. And you are seeing the rank 1 being the same as the current rank, because this is the first 10 season takeover. I plan much more of these. As if you want to see another one, comment below who it should be with, and thank you for watching this rebuild, which honestly has been a huge one. Erik Ten Hag has been sacked as manager of Manchester United. Fans everywhere celebrate. Or don't celebrate him getting sacked, but the new manager, Ruben Amorim, is in charge of Manchester United. The Portuguese comes with a reputation from Sporting Lisbon of aggressive, short passing styled football. As we'll put that to the test here with Manchester United, as we aim to win everything possible. Yes, people, I will explain that in a second, as here he is, the new manager of Man United, Ruben Amorim. And I know what you guys are probably saying, Max, you just did United, but this time it's very different. I recommend watching the 10 seasons, but if you want more of a strict challenge, this is the vid for you as the easy objective. Win 2 trophies to beat Erik ten Hag's record, and this doesn't have to be in 2 years, we just need to do it overall. That is why it's an easy one, as the next one's a lot harder. But it's only the medium objective. We must win every English trophy. No, not the Papa Johns, and also the final trophy must be the UCL final. We must end by playing that one. As here's the hard objective, we must play Amorim style, which is a 3 at the back formation, and only sign Amorim players. And Amorim style players are classed as 3 types: Portuguese, youth, or from Liga NOS, which is the Portuguese league, or the Liga Portugal, and that is of course going to make this challenge very difficult. And we do have this team, which of course we've used before on this channel, but I just love it. We've got Alejandro Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes, and El Butcher. That's what I'm going to call him, as I do have my freedom. I can pick any 3 at the back formation I actually desire. And do you know what? The 3-4-3 is screaming my name, or Amorim's name, because he wants to play this formation. And no, I'm not picking it to get Anthony into the team. I'm thinking Amad Diallo, a player I didn't use last time I used United. Gives him a chance to play. I've got Casemiro in the back line. The only player it hinders, probably Bruno Fernandes. As this is a tricky decision, do we actually make him a centre mid? Or do we go winger because we're missing out on someone? Kobe Mainoo's down here in the reserves. I want to play him, but this formation makes it quite difficult. As another player we can use, actually, Lenny Euro. I forgot about him. I want to start him this time. I want to use players I didn't use last time. And of course use the academy, but I'm going to bin off a 4-star scout. Get him out the team. We only want 5 stars here at United. 5-star experience, that's more like it, in McFadden. As he's going to England, we can still scout English youth. And I'm going to go Portugal. I'm actually going to turn this into a Portuguese team. But finding Portuguese, that's what I like to call them on this channel, to fit Manchester United, probably more difficult. As for a closer look at the budget, £190 million, plus a lot of bad players we can sell from the Ten Hag era. As let's be honest, now he's gone, he didn't make the best of signings, as most of these players I've listed have Man United sat in 14th. So we've got to get rid of them, and I'm starting with my favourite, Harry Maguire, who's on the back of the shirt I'm currently wearing. Can you see it? I'm hoping you can see it and hear it. Is the next player leaving? We still are loaning some youth players out. Harry Amas out the door, and this kid looks good because he's a left back in this game, but he has a lot of pace for the wing. And many other players, because I've been busy in this window. Malacia, Casemiro, Eriksen, Mason Mount, even Anthony making the move to Brighton, which is a very weird move, but this might be classed as a weird one. Going to the Liga NOS, but not actually going to Lisbon. I want to make this a project under Amorim, so a youth team is what is required, and Roger Fernandez looks that guy. To go onto that wing, supporting Marcus Rashford from behind, because Rashford can push up the field to the left wing spot. And then we've got Rocha, so we're adding another youthful winger from the academy. And I forgot about Garnacho. How do we actually play this? Do we just put Fernandez in for Rashford? Maybe a risky move, but do you know what would be riskier? Going like this with the youth into our first season. Yes, and I understand £250 million still in the budget, but this is the final time I'll say this is a project. As when you look at the age of the players, the amount of players over 27, absolutely unbelievable, and we've got to try and build past those. As this is how the team looked. Oh my days, my eyes are drawn to Lenny Euro. But Fernandez done okay, 78 at 19 years old, and Rocha at 17 at now 71 rated. This is genuinely incredible. hopefully a trophy to go with it. As let's see, shall we? Well, it's a 6th place finish in the Premier League. Better than Ten Hag's finishes, but no Champions League, which we don't have to win yet. And we also lose the Community Shield and also lose the FA Cup because we don't make the finale. Losing in the quarters to Nottingham Forest, that's bad. But then when you look at the other draws, City looking out with Salford, and in the Carabao Cup we were actually hammered by Manchester City. So it doesn't look like a trophy unless we win the Europa League. Which do I think we will do? No, but we do finish 3rd in the league phase. To then get Karabag, who we beat 5-3 on aggregate. We then beat Galatasaray on penalties at a squeeze, and then lose in the semis. Oh dear, Fenerbahce. Jose and Amorim actually good friends as well. Losing to a fellow Portuguesa, as our best player is a Portuguesa. Bruno Fernandes grabbing 37 goals, then Højlund amongst the goals. At least the youth are doing well. So on the whole, trophy-wise, we're not close to winning everything. But team-wise with the youth, our wingers, just look at the wings, man. So good. Then Lenny Yoro, but also on the bench, we've definitely got to fill this squad because that is not enough players. Brought some more youth players through the team and haven't obviously put them on training drills. Just gone and promoted the likes of Dimesquites. Very good. Also got players like Harry Amas back from his loan, and need to change his position as we've got a lot of position swaps to do. 87 weeks till he swaps as Diogo Dalot. Firstly becomes a right mid, so maybe goes back in the team. Just for now as Mazraoui, he's gonna do the same and increase. As Agate to a centre mid, that was always needed, but this is gonna be a different one and maybe also controversial. Kobe Mainu to the wing. And that makes him an 81. Unbelievable, as Bruno, I believe, is the last change for this team. Going to a centre mid, and now he's an 89. Oh, and one change I just made and actually forgot to speak on is Ahmad, as he moves to a winger, and I'm going to put Mainu behind him. Yes, we have better players. We've just promoted Dalot to a right mid and Mazraoui, but I am going to trust our youth player as 179 million, which I aren't going to waste, as first position is a goalkeeper, and Ruben Amorim is going to go to an ex-rival. As is Onana good? Yes, but do I want him? Not at all. As could we get away with a swap? 30 million plus Andre Onana? Okay, we don't get away with 30, but 40 million plus Onana for this class goalkeeper, of course, from Portugal. Just like Roger Fernandez, but we haven't gone back to Lisbon yet, as now we do for a left footer, Goncalo Ignacio. Now we're spending the money, another 40 million on a class player who can now go on to the left. Lenny Yoro at the side of him, and also very young himself, as I've just seen in the reserves. I always forget this man, but we do have Jadon Sancho back, as he could go in the team ahead of Roger Fernandez at this moment, but I actually don't know about that. Ten Hag didn't like Sancho, so I'm going to keep my eye on him, as also Matthias de Ligt. Now, I know he's a good defender, but that looks like a very good defense. As speaking of still being youthful, though, like that defense, we have these players here. Vilna, Parkinson, Newton, all from the academy. They can try and get loan deals out like the players that are surrounding them, as we focus on the first team, now with another purchase. As when I was scouting Sporting, I did find another young gun, Ribeiro, this striker, who could be good for our future seasons. Okay, and somehow with two strikers in Xerxes and Højlund, Ribeiro still being played, and he's up to a 79 rating. Can play different positions like cam and left wing, as I'm not just looking at him though, I'm looking at the entirety of this team at the moment, because we've got Garnacho, Ahmad, Kobe Mainu's actually played, and same with Roger Fernandez. Now we do have Marcus Rashford, we do have Diego Dalot, we do have Jadon Sancho, who's gone up to an 86. Don't know how he's actually played, but it's only 5 games, you know. Maybe at the end of the season he's played, because it hasn't played him throughout it. Sancho actually doing well, but still I think he's the player I want to sell. as Rasmus the best player, and then Ahmad is second. Actually getting up there as I'm releasing quite a few failed youngsters, as we've got new ones coming through, like Rocha, who was on loan at Leicester. Now a 77, has actually no position swaps to make. Only Garnacho, who I forgot to put on a left wing drill. Still, he has been playing. Oh, Ruben, this is not good though. Amarin's United slip to an 8th place finish. Do we have to change this formation up? Because we're not doing well in the cups either. Losing in the 3rd round to Newcastle United and losing to Bournemouth in round 3 of the Carabao, the round we enter, as this is now big pressure for Ruben, really. The same as Ten Hag. He's actually won less trophies and he's finished lower in the Europa League phase. It's now 7th in the league. That is horrible. Then again, we did beat Ajax, where Ten Hag is probably in hiding. We then beat Galatasaray again, and then beat Royal Antwerp to get ourselves into a final. Now, we don't need to win this trophy. We need to win the English trophies, as we don't even win it anyway. Oh my days, what's going on? What is going on with this team? And Ruben Amorim's formation, because at the moment, it is not working. Oh my days, and if it couldn't get any worse than no trophies, Kobe Mainu has left us once again. This time going to Bournemouth. A spoiler alert for the 10 season rebuild, he kept leaving us, trying to force his way out the club, as he's probably done it on a release clause yet again, as 168 million, so we still do have money to replace him, plus the players to replace him, as at the moment it replaces him with Rocha. But on the bench down here we have Mazraoui and Delors. Also Jadon Sancho, who could potentially go on that wing, as I'm wearing a Portugal shirt. Hopefully changes our luck in getting some Portuguese talent, as the Portuguese players are best players. In Fernandes, Costa, Ignacio is now up there. As positionally, midfield looks kind of a weak position. A lot of youth in there, but not really talented players. And this man, João Neves, is too good really for the bench. But I will try and bring him in as a rotational player at the moment. And I'll try and swap Xerxes, because he's not doing very good. And that offer you just saw worked, and after all, we don't really need Xerxes. We've got Højlund and Ribeiro, who don't look rating good enough, but we know Højlund scored the most goals, and Ribeiro still young, only 21 years old, as that's a lot better for the bench. Now we've got centre backs, right mids and left mids, everyone right there, so now we just look for extra bodies, as we could go to the academy, but I'm saying no to it, as after all, quality's needed. We've tried our youth and failed, so we'll try other people's youth. As look at this man at Copenhagen, Jorge Barbosa, with out of these world stats. So I'm going to bring him in because De Ligt's getting no younger, and also Martinez no younger, and this man makes a good back line. As I keep mentioning the future, but seriously, for it, genuinely incredible, as Fernandes is 20, and I've just realised right there, we've got 2 Fernandeses, which is actually quite funny, and we've still got money for another player, as we don't need a winger with Garnacho now left wing. And I might backpedal here, you know I said we didn't need a striker. I'd love Ribeiro to grow, but I just feel like we need more quality. And my obvious choice to replace him was Victor Gyökeres, but he's moved to Milan, so we've been too late on signing him. Rookie mistake, but still there's a lot of options. If we go down to Portugal and look who their best is, and it's this man, a player I believe I've never bought in career mode, maybe once or twice, but Goncalo Ramos, sensational player who ruins our United budget, but makes the team stronger, as that looks pretty good. And to get him in the Premier League, well, it's kind of a little cheat code, as I'm hoping asking you guys to subscribe could also be a cheat code. As we're on the race for 50k, if you could help before January 1st, I would really appreciate that, and also smash the like button. Maybe me not saying that yet is the reason we're not doing too well, as this team's got better, but I can see there's still a few issues here. This Fernandes isn't getting played, probably because of Sancho, but then on the bench, Diego Dallo, 87. He's come on leaps and bounds. As when we put him into the team, say with De Ligt, this is how it looks. A very good team. And that could be it going forward. Because a lot of good players, the only problem is they're not all our youth we bought. Still, maybe not buying youth is a good thing, because look at our top scorer. Ramos got 30, Bruno, our old man, got 22, then Rocha got quite a few. But he's still under the 80 mark, which is a bit of a shame, as did no UCL do as good. Only 3 defeats, but it's second to Arsenal. So no trophy so far, or scrap that, because we won the FA Cup. 4-3 on penalties over Chelsea, that's 1 trophy. Still, that 1 trophy is less than Erik ten Hag got, and we're 3 seasons deep, as we don't win the Carabao as well. Lost to Chelsea in that one, so we beat them and lost to them. Fair's fair, but still, our squad's good enough to beat more teams. Especially with no Europe, as we weren't even in the Conference League. And something has to change sooner rather than later. Well, I think I know how I freshen this up. I'm freshening up my own hair, as won £6-8 million for Ruben Amorim to spend, and we're in need of a lot of trophies. In this series, the Community Shield counts, which we are going to be in, but where do we sign? There's the right-hand side with Delo, and then Ahmad that could be stronger, but I really like the look of Ahmad. I think he's been brilliant so far. On bench, I'm looking at that. I think Bayinde does leave us. And I'm also looking at Fernandes, because this man's not been the greatest. And Rocha sits on the bench, as also, if you hear fireworks, there's fireworks going on in the background. I hate this time of year. And I hate this type of challenge. Well, sometimes I kind of hate it, as the best player we could sign is Pedro Goncalves. He's not really a youngster. We've got this youngster goalkeeper, Jovanovic, but then they do have another strong keeper, and then a stronger one in Rui Silva, who's good enough for the bench, so I'll go ahead and just buy him. He's better than Bayinde, so there he goes and gets his bench spot. As now I'm actually thinking, could we change the shape of this team? As long as it's 3 at the back, we can have whatever formation we want, as there's a 3-5-2, the 3-4-1-2. I can't lie though, I'm a big fan of the wingers that we currently have. Garnacho and Sancho, them two working together should work wonders. Now they're fully grown and almost at potential. As another thing I need to do is actually put players on their playstyle plus roles. That's more like it. 2 inside forwards and a poacher with 2 hardworking midfielders, then 3 at the back. As we have 2 defenders on the bench, we do only have 1 centre mid and no actual wingers, because these 2 are left midfielders. So could Goncalves be the answer? Good playstyle plus on him. But then there is this man, and you know we have the money to afford him. Rafael Leao, whose contract is expiring. I'm sorry, it had to be done. We just had to bring him to United and put him on that side, which I know is replacing Garnacho. But I've just watched Chelsea United, and this man wasted a lot of chances. As maybe he could learn to be a right wing instead, because Diogo Dalot and Mazraoui refusing contracts. And I've trained him as a right mid, so yes, Garnacho's on the right. And also I trained Fernandes, Roger Fernandes. Less about him though, and more on Man United, as that's another English Cup. The Premier League is now ours. That goes into the cabinet, and that will be joined by the Community Shield as well, winning on pens over Arsenal. That big clunky trophy just leaves the Carabao, but before that, the FA Cup, we don't go and do that again. Knocked out by Burnley in the round of 16. Now, that is not a good thing. Then again, we don't need to win that. Just need to win the Carabao, and I can't believe this has happened. If there's a way to prove I didn't actually script this, I would. But Manchester United go ahead and win the Carabao as well, meaning the only trophy now is the UCL final we've got to win. Beaten Ten Hag's 2 trophies and finished 6th in the league phase. Amorim is cooking, as we got lucky with Stade Brestois. Then we beat Paris 4-3, and that's just a flashback to Rashford scoring that penalty. I remember the scenes from that day. And then we looked out. We got Leipzig in the semis, meaning we do go to a final Real Madrid versus Manchester United. And this counts. This actually counts. Leao's made all the difference. As you can see right there, although he's not gone up in overall. But one player that has is Roger Fernandez changing to a right mid. And just because he's loyal, I might play him in this finale. Oh, but Garnacho's changed as well. He's now 87 as a right mid. Has to be Garnacho playing, although I've just seen the injury. Leao is injured critically with the ambulance picture. So Fernandez to the right and Garnacho back to that left wing slot. Shame that as well, because when simming, Leao got so many man of the matches. As Neves into the midfield as well, alongside Bruno Fernandes. As I sound surprised we've actually done it this season, winning all the trophies we needed. But when you look at the ratings, are you actually surprised we went and did it? Plus, when you look at the goal scorers, no surprises here. The captain Bruno Fernandes leading by example. As here we go, and don't tell me, is this at Old Trafford? The UCL final at Old Trafford? This is hardly fair for Madrid. We are, of course, in our away kit, but still, this is mental. And this is not the first time rebuilding United. We, of course, did them in the 10th season takeover, but we don't get to play a final in that. And I was desperate to use these United players as Garnacho skips past one. Alejandro Garnacho goes for the pass. Very unlucky it didn't pay off as Bernardo Silva, the enemy. Of course, ex-Man City, but Benjamin Pavard playing very well and Kylian Mbappe lurking up front. Fernandez to come away with that one, but it's just a pass straight back to Real Madrid, the hardest team we could possibly play. As João Neves running up front himself, giving it to Alejandro Garnacho, running at Benjamin Pavard, who we should beat for pace and does, absolutely skins the left back. Oh, and that's going to be a corner. Or right back, sorry, as last time out we did score from a corner. Terrible Bruno Fernandes. Terrible corner ball. Need to do a lot better in the second half, but Kylian Mbappe at the end of the first half. Come on, get it clear, Goncalo Ignacio. Best chance going to Madrid, but hang on. At the end of the first half, Goncalo Ramos hasn't been in the game, and he might have to take the shot from range. Big save by Courtois, though. Two of the best chances coming at the end of the half. For either side is Garnacho. Now that's got to be a red card challenge. Absolutely disgraceful. And of course it's that man Bernardo Silva, as there we go, it's a red. Bye-bye to the ex-citizen. Disgraceful challenge, that one, and now we should hold an advantage, but if we could score immediately after it. Bruno Fernandes to try and whip it in, and the referee points to the spot. I believe this is a penalty, a handball by Pavard. He's absolutely been shocked. Facing Garnacho has been an absolute pain for this man, but taking the penalty here, Bruno Fernandes, just like the weekend against Chelsea, with the hop, skip and a jump, and it's into the top corner. Real Madrid don't know what's hit them. Bruno with the penalty, the red card just before it. This is the United way, the Ruben Amorim United way. Forgive my pronunciation sometimes, I honestly can't help it. It's the voice that I was given as Bruno Fernandes. Needs an option. Not getting any just yet, but if he pulls this ball back, goes for the middle, that's released Amad Diallo. Diallo to try and strike it. Pulling the ball across the field has never been so easier as Roger Fernandez, the first signing we made, the one I put a big risk into as Amad Diallo into the box, crossing it, and no one's there. Only do have one striker, Goncalo, at the moment, as Sancho hit the middle. It is Amad with the header. But the goal won't count, will it? Offside. Oh my days. Can we actually just score a legit second goal here? As Sancho around the right back again, Pavard's been very poor. Cross towards Amad Diallo. Already somehow scored a header, as we don't win any of ours, but they've whacked it straight to Diogo Costa. Madrid wasting the ball as they've got to get it off Bruno, but I don't think they will, and that is an offside pass. But referee just blow the whistle, as he does, and Manchester United, after strict signing, using only the academy and Portuguese players, go ahead and win the UCL, with Bruno lifting it, and that is so satisfying to see, because we didn't get to see it the first time, and I'm going to say this lightly, because I actually don't mean very soon, but if you do want to see another Manchester United rebuild, comment down below and show this video some love, as if you do want to keep watching, click either of these videos right here for more FC25 rebuilds. Manchester United just scraped to win against Fulham by the skin of their teeth after Ruben Amorim admitted his squad is the worst in the history of Man United, but I think we can make it even worse ourselves by taking over the Manchester club, but going below the Premier League and below the Championship, below League One, taking them to the depths of English football, releasing all their players because, after all, they're not good enough, and seeing if we can rebuild United with a bit of a twist. As not only are they in the lowest ranked league in English football, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe has absolutely bankrupted Manchester United. As yes people, welcome to a build that's going to be massive today. United and 4th tier. Put them together, you've got a huge build. As this is the team we have, and this doesn't look like Manchester United or the Man United we know. This is a very weak squad, as everybody above the rating of 70 has gone. Our best player is retiring, Tom Heaton, the 70 rated. Johnny Evans has gone, Garnacho's finally gone, Kobe Mainu, and also the manager Ruben Amorim. Giving us free reign over this squad, we can change the formation, players, shape, and everything, which makes me feel a lot better, but there is still 2 rules to follow. The first is before we reach the Premier League, no signings over 10 million. We have got to give the youth a chance, and we've got to utilise them in a certain way, because the class of 92 came around. We've got to make another class of 92 with 5 youth players in the first team squad at all times, and I am not counting the players already here like Hurst, who we've just got from scouting or releasing players. Yes, that's right, these players have come from releasement. So Hadjanajev, he isn't even English, so he does not count towards the 92. And we've got 0 million in the budget, so yeah, we've got to try and afford an academy, whilst also using the players already here for the time being. At least we already have a scout though, a 5-star experience. Can't send him out this year unless we did go ahead and sell a player, but we do have these already at the club. These are the default ones. No one too good. We've got no one out of the ordinary. Archie Davis, maybe he could shout he's the next David Beckham, but I don't think that at all. I just think we've got to roll with what we've got. Yeah, not a big fan initially of any of them players we see in the academy, as we've got to pick a formation, and I'm thinking one with a lot of centre mids. Maybe this one, 2 strikers, a cam, and then 3 to fit our players all into, and I think that's best for season number 1. Everybody has a backup on the bench. This is the starting 11. We've got Wheatley, Hugh Gill, Bennett and Toby Collier in the defence, and Harry Amas at 17. He could grow to be something special, playing counter for the first season because I don't trust the lads really as they are, and running with this tactic, as without further ado, this is what we're using. Yeah, not much to do season 1 apart from get the players in a shape. Hopefully next season we have some money, and next season we can try and get promoted. Although the shape of the team is good enough. Ethan Hurst at 17. Potential to be special, of course, doesn't count towards an academy player. None of them do, as Vitek, Wheatley and Toby Collier should have changed positions and does to a 67, as also Sakva should have done, and he goes up to a 65, and one of our wingers the same, Jesse Vaughan. I changed him to a cam to try and get him into the team, as the 2 highest rateds look like the stars, Ethan Hurst and Ethan Wheatley. It's the Ethan show at Manchester United with 28 goals and 24. As this is the team that has been playing. So Collier actually hasn't. Heaton hasn't. It's been Vitek, and when I take him out of the team, we do need another captain. And I think the way the save has started, it has got to be this Ethan Hurst kid. Not part of the 92, but the 92 is yet to come and will be coming in League One of England, you know. It's an instant promotion with the young lads, and we really haven't done anything. Literally just put them into a shape. The starting players we had at the club, and we've got them 1 League 2. League One will be a whole different kettle of fish. We've got the Wrexhams, the Huddersfields, the Birminghams as Chelsea win the FA Cup. No big run from our lads. We got to round 3 and then lost to Millwall. And then actually reached round 2 of the Carabao, losing on penalties to Ipswich, which is a little bit harsh on us because that's a good tie. Playing a Premier League club as Wycombe win the BSM trophy. We crashed out to Tranmere in round 2 after winning our group stage, which, come on, is not bad at all. This hasn't been a bad first season. Has any of the current academy players grown? Because I did keep them around for now. Hunter Jackson, slightly, but he's Canadian, so won't count towards objectives, as we need to find 5 youth players in the upcoming seasons. Definitely won't be easy now we are reaching League One. And as always, you guys know, we really do need luck in these kind of rebuilds, so hit the like and subscribe to the channel for more of these builds. League One, get in, but it is definitely not going to be simple. We've got contracts to sign. Now, what are the demands going to be? Of course, these are young players, not great ratings. They're all below 70, but this is Manchester United. Great. They're leaving it to me. And, yeah, it's a mixed bag. They're not being too expensive, but 11k a week for Joe Huggle. It's not really League One level. They're wanting a little more bang for the buck, as what's the budget? It says 11 million, but 5 is all we've been given, and we've spent a bit going into this season. In League One, at least we've got the budget sorted, and we can't spend over a 10 million anyway on a single player, as I think the first position we definitely work upon is central midfield, but also not just that. We've got to look at right back, because there is a certain class of 92 player that did play there in Gary Neville, and just because we're not going for wingers just yet doesn't mean we won't at some point. So I am going to stick wingers on the search to try and get the next David Beckham, maybe Ryan Giggs. Beautiful players. As for now, with the rest of the money we can spend, we need another goalkeeper, but I'm not looking to replace Vitek. I'm looking for someone to just sit behind him and maybe play a couple of cup games, as Jack Bycroft over at Swindon Town would have been the first signing, apart from we actually can't go ahead and buy him. Mildly frustrating, because how are we going to actually get to spend our money? Well, yes, we are. 400k on this funny named goalkeeper, David Harrington, and it's funny because his name sounds like Carrington, which is the place he's just walked into. It is Manchester United's training ground. Funny that, as now we do have our youth players to flick back to, because before we make another signing, we have got to be aware that these guys come with a wage, and a first team wage at this level. 3k is not a small margin, and at least we found some very good players in Peter Robinson, Bourne, Hayes and Knowles, and we've also got a good right back, Caleb Higgins. Probably needs a loan deal once he's old enough, but look at these talents. Oh, these are going to work. Robinson as well, only 16, and he's got to go into our team. So season 2 tinkering, and I think the 4-1-1 midfield, yes, doesn't play to the winger strength, but still, it keeps our midfielders. Allows Dangor to go left mid, had Najev supporting Wheatley and Robinson on the right. This team maybe could survive. Happy with the team, and alright, I am happy with that position. 16th, it is survival, and survival is literally all we wanted. Surprised Wrexham were that low down. And yeah, we've done a bit of loaning this season. I will show you that in a second, as the FA Cup, we only reached round 2. And the Carabao Cup, round 2. We lost to Fleetwood, where we just signed the goalkeeper, showing we're not winning in cups, unless we do go and win that Papa John's trophy, or Bristol Street Motors. But no, Bolton, kind of a rival here, because Bolton, Manchester, kind of close in proximity. We lost to Stockport, another rival, because that is literally Manchester. So I'm not too happy on that. And I have done a lot of position changing, with this team growing quite nicely. Of course, we've had to play Glover, because we don't have a right back through. And I guess we've got one player counting towards the 92, which is Robson. As you can see, I'm going to put a badge over which players do count, meaning we've got a long distance to go. But we do have some players out on loan, like I said. But before that, some changes. These aren't two academy players. I'm just trying to make us better, like Luis Barnes is going to be a centre-back. Dan Gore changes to a left mid, 67 rated now, and maybe should get played, as Robson goes to a right mid. Should make him a little stronger, but there's a right mid on the come up. Nicholas Knowles. He was one of the players we promoted alongside Frankie Bernard. I believe he just came through the academy. Maybe didn't. And it's a shame because our two best academy players are both right mids, as you can see. But I'm going to check the stats this season. And it's the Ethan show again with Ethan Wheatley. 15 goals. As now, not only contracts are signed, which will keep going up, I believe, but position changes to make Nicholas Knowles get on that left-hand side. I'm desperate to make him work, as we've got to keep looking at fullbacks. Now, Harry Amas is actually the lowest, and Glover can play left-back if needed. So we could technically still search for the right-back, but then centre-backs. Could we replace Bennett? 22-year-old now, not getting any younger, and the budget only getting higher, meaning with £8 million, could we even make a signing to replace him? Maybe we could, but I'm going to check the current academy because we do have a class keeper, Hunter Jackson. We just signed a backup, which is annoying, and I've got the players on drills. Sean Stubbs has great potential, and also Caleb Higgins, but I don't think he's just ready yet. Meaning I'm going to use the academy to go and search for a right back again, but as you can see on this screen, I'm going to go for 2 academy scouts. That first one going to England because I'm desperate to find some English talent. Looking through the middle again for centre mid and centre back especially. Then I'm going to send the other scout to the Republic of Ireland firstly to try and find the fullbacks. Maybe a Dennis Irwin. A fantastic Man United legend if you do know him. He could play either side, as I have just signed up all the contracts as well, leaving 2 players out. Barnes, who will be replaced, and Elijah Dean, a very false striker, not looking too good, as of course we've got to look for an academy player, or a few, but we've still got a lot of money left over to spend. So can we find a striker? Well, this one looks a very good talent. Josh Andrews, who I believe did come from the Everton Academy. So I'm going to sign him as our tall, physical striker option. As speaking of physical options as well, I have gone and got a centre-back in Connolly, just to sit on the bench. Of course, now a striker and centre-back to replace them players going out, who I'm releasing at the end of their deals, giving us the freedom to focus upon our youth. As look at that potential. Liam Gilbert looks incredible at 14, 94 potential maximum. Fantastic from the Englishman, but now anything in Ireland. A few players here and there like Christopher Gleeson and Ben McDonnell, but we can't promote him. We've filled our academy with some very good talent. As you can see, we found 2 more left-hand side midfielders and a lot better players with potential, as I'm going to kick out some with the less potential to make room for players like Ben McDonnell, as this academy window is going to go insane. I am promoting a lot of these youngsters. As this seems to be turning into an academy thing. I don't want it to turn into fully, but as you can see, the loan boys are out. Each one of these, including Sean Stubbs, is from the academy, so will count towards the 92. None of the initial starters here, apart from Hunter Jackson as the ratings. Well, we've got a position swap. Knowlesy boy on the left now, so maybe he hasn't played this season. Maybe it's Gev game time elsewhere, but still, I don't mind it. It looks like Gore has played and scored, but not as much as Wheatley, with 27 this season. That is nuts, and this team is nuts. But Wheatley not the highest rated. We've got Hurst at a 79, and also Vitek at a 79. Unbelievable, as this first team still at the moment only has 2 academy players in it, and need to keep on building up. Is this a problem? Winning League 1. So we are going to go to the championship with a trophy, but is it a problem because Our academy players, we're slacking by 3. And we're going to be in the championship, meaning they probably won't get game time. We're probably going to have to loan for a while, as we need to win the Champions League with them 5 academy youngsters. Despite still not going far in cups, we lost to Rotherham 1-0 in round 2 again, and Gillingham in round 2, where we've literally just signed our striker from. So that's embarrassing. And Rotherham again, round 2 of the BSM again, not getting our hands on them trophies, so probably not getting the budget increases that we need. And now in the academy, I might as well promote Caleb Higgins, 61 rated now, get him and a lot of other players out on loan, because they are not first team level. And now Man United in the championship could happen in real life. Sorry to United fans, but it's definitely a possibility. A few more points saved now, but we need to loan our players out because they won't play, and £21 million. Could we go even more ham with the academy? Because as you can see, a lot of loan listed players we need to try and fit in this first team, but some of them with poor ratings like Jesse Vaughan at 63 rated, and Higgins who we've just promoted. Can we just skip to 65 rated by getting better academy scouts? I'm going to sack the one in the middle. Go for Mattia Johnson. He's Norwegian. He's £3 million. And then also Ethan Crook. Yes, I am going to go with the 3 scouts to try and find something special, as the first one, as always, going to England. The second one, Northern Ireland. I'm going to hang off the Republic. And then the third one, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go and look in Indonesia to see if there's any talent in there. As you might be thinking, Max, that wasn't that expensive. Almost 10 million gone from the budget we initially started with. And that's because now we're a championship team. I have just signed up contracts, and players seem to be getting a lot more expensive. So I think we've got roughly around 5 million to spend on a sign-in, because I am going to try and make one, and I am going to try and replace Bennett now. Need someone I can trust a bit more, maybe a left footer, as I'm searching in Germany. And this man's already good. And gets good, Marton Dardai. Signed him on so many saves before, and I just love this Hungarian beast, who goes straight into that left centre-back slot and partners with Toby Collier, a player I haven't spoke about enough, playing of course in real life for Manchester United, and getting his chance here, as we need to really find the best youth players out the academy, because still we don't have much room in it. Kicked a few more players out though, and look, it is a lot better. A lot better this year. We've got Harley Dean, who is a cam, you know. So he could go into that slot. Harry Elliott can push Harry Amas. And also Elliot Skinner. What is it with players beginning with E? We've got Jair Dugan. I'm going to promote all these we can. And Dedi Duit, the only Indonesian. And because he's got blue hair. Thought that was cool, as now 41 players. But one thing I'm currently missing, and I never show this when I'm doing a build, but we haven't touched the coaching, as this is all we could afford, and I'm trying to focus on 2 positions currently. The midfielders for that cam and centre mid we have in the academy, and also goalkeeper, because goalkeeper we can always improve upon. And ladies and gents, the last hour has been the longest of my life, loaning all these players out, but still, it looks worth it. Not with Harley Dean, who I thought would be a lot better, but Caleb Higgins. Now, I've spoke about this guy a lot this save. Don't know what it was, I just believed he would get towards that potential, and Sean Stubbs as well. He had a lot of potential when we saw him. So them two look first team worthy if we're still in the championship. If we're going to the Premier League, which is kind of possible. With the 70 rated, it might be harder as still. Our list goes on. Look at the amount of players we have, all just below 70, which is annoying as this is the first team. And oh my days, look at the growth in Hurst. If only he was one of the academy players, which of course he's not. It could have been brilliant. And Knowles, do not like his lack of game time, giving more of it to Dangor. Maybe we make Dangor a cam to just get him out of the way of that position, because we do have 2 players currently. We can add another 2 in the 2 we had out on loan, leaving 1 more needed. 1 more academy player needed, and then, well, I was going to say hit the Premier League, but United already back into it. Now that's a bit of a blessing in disguise because of course, Premier League football, but finding another youth player completely out of nowhere is going to be difficult. As you can see, Aston Villa winning FA Cup as we go ahead and get thumped by Luton Town 5-0. Must have not played a first team there as Aston Villa go and do a double. With us losing to Spurs in the round of 16, a little bit of improvement. With no BSM trophy this year, and let's have a look at the ratings this way. The goalkeeper, striker, and centre mid. The 3 key positions. We do have great players. It's just about growing the rest of them, as no wonder he's hit an 87, 27 goals, 14 assists. Impeccable. As now, what the heck do we do with this academy? Because we're a Premier League Man United now. We've come all the way from the depths of League 2, rising like a phoenix and rising to collect our old budgets, roughly around this mark. £71 million to spend after wages, because we do have 41 players. We've got a lot of players on basic drills. We do need to try and find another player, as Louis Smith does look all right. Max Lister, the goalkeeper. If we could get a goalkeeper out on loan, maybe we could sell Vitek and make some money in the goalkeeping slot, as we do have 4 youth players, and one of them on the wing has actually changed to this man Born, who I'm going to be training there, and also Hayes. Now, when we compare him to Hadnadjev, he's only 3 ratings behind him. So maybe we could sell the Serbian, because he does not count as a youth player, just a player that came to play for us when we were stuck in the depth of League 2. So could cash in on him from Feyenoord, 18.3 million. Or he even goes to Southampton for 17.7. A lot of bids flying in for this man, but I'm just glad to get him out, sell him to the Eredivisie, and now can put another youth player in, making it 5. So we do have our class of 92 in here, plus youth players such as Collier, Amas, and Vitek. But speaking of Harry Amas, 75 rated in the squad, not going towards an objective, so maybe we do sign a centre-back. And it is a rule, of course, in these rebuilds. I don't know if I've said it already, but we cannot sign players that did leave the club in the past. So no Luke Shaw, as I'm going to look away from England and Kean Best. We are doing something with youth here. It would be stupid to just go for an oldie. So why not be sensible? We'll have him and Amas fight it out, and we'll put the 60 million in to wages and maybe another academy. Or sorry, not actually academy, but coaches. We've gone for coaches. I couldn't take any more academy players. I think it would actually drive me nuts. As we can't forget here, now we're in the Premier League, not only do we just use this team with the youth already in it, but we can buy anyone for any price. That's right, the 10 million max spend is off the table. And I think it's a good job as well, because this bench looks a little bit stinky. Got to do some mopping up there, but then in the first team we've got some academy players plus Hurst in the middle, 21-year-old, 92 rated. Phenomenal, as he wasn't the top scorer though. His partner, Sean Stubbs of the academy, is the top scorer, outscoring Wheatley. The striker not getting the most, and we've got Higgins, who did play. Louis Smith out on loan. Ellie Skinner. These two look decent. Also, Max Lister, the goalkeeper, almost at a 75. Unfortunately, at the moment, though, unless we are relegated, I think we've outgrown him, as we're not. We're clearly in the Premier League. Looks like Manchester United tax pick 10 points up. We do survive, despite a terrible goal difference, but still no trophy, apart from them lower league ones, as we did reach a quarter-final. And then City go ahead and win the Carabao 3-1 over Southampton, as we reach round 3 only, losing to a team below us in Bournemouth. Yeah, I'd love a trophy at Manchester United now, as still we're going to stick with Bourne out wide, despite close competition from Dangor, and I forgot a few loanees to show you, because I did loan out a few of our good players, like Knowles, who went to Roma, 85 rated is the youngster, and also Bourne, this midfielder. Why did I not show these off? I would have seen them if I saw the ratings. And then, of course, we do have Max Lister going onto the bench, but Bourne and Knowles back into the first team. But I can't help but feel sorry for Stubbs, who goes on to the subs. And is that really the best thing for him? Because he still has the potential to be special, as maybe we try another party trick. Maybe it is the downfall of Hayes. As Hurst from day one, he only takes 2 weeks to cam, and with 97 finishing, 97 attacking positioning, he could move a bit forward. We've got Stubbs and Bourne behind them, and then we can work on the defense, because Toby Collier and also Best hasn't worked out the best. An 86 million, but Wheatley up front. He didn't score many goals last year. I think he got like 10, and he might be a good bench option. With Hugel at a 72, I think Wheatley will just be on that sub, or be a sub on that subs bench, as we need to go and buy a striker for any price, as any stuck in the championship, the second tier. When we have been signing, we've done well signing from below us, getting some good ones, some bargains, but unfortunately I don't see anyone over 80 until Yusufa Moukoko shows up. Now he's a year older than Wheatley is, but if we just make them two fight it out, it could be scenes as welcome Moukoko from Everton doing a Wayne Rooney, but still, I don't like the price tag. That's half of our budget gone, and the wage is astronomical. 80k a week. That is a lot more than Radak Vitek, who is a lot better player, as I keep looking at Toby Collier. I don't really want to sell him, but he's 25-year-old now. Then again, Best at left back isn't the best. He hasn't had a good season, nor has Higgins, who could be out of the first team because we've got 5 academy players through the midfield line. We don't need him in defense, so I think Higgins will go. Maybe stick around on the bench. As for the first time in this save, maybe we sign someone else's youngster, as this right back from Atleti Madrid, Simon Peters, looks very good. And look at that, 83 rated. He's only gone and improved our back line, with Vitek in the goal as a 90 rated now. The weakest is Toby Collier and Kian Best, who funnily enough shares one of the best names in football, Georgie Best, Man United. You do get the link there. It tells me he kind of belongs, as these players do belong in the Premier League. Just look at them. Improvement galore with the youngsters, and Hurst has gone up to a 95 overall. If only he was an academy prospect, it would have actually been brilliant. But before we go on to scorers, we do lose a prospect in Collier, who was here before us, because let's face it, yes, he's brilliant. We already have a backup centre-back and he's 26-year-old. I could have tried to sell him, but we have 46 million as it is, plus next year's budget. And I'm releasing him from his wage, so the money will just skyrocket. Plus it saved me paying his contract this year when there's better players, such as Stubbs, Moukoko and Hurst. 24 goals. Could he actually be up for a Ballon d'Or next season? Well, 8th in the league. I don't think that's Ballon d'Or worthy, even for the player, because we're not going to be playing in Europe, because Forest, who finished below us, go ahead and win that FA Cup trophy, meaning we won't go through to it because they take our 8th position of Conference League, as Chelsea win the Carabao. They beat us in the FA Cup. And with our squad, we should be here because we've got the 90 rateds now. They have just got to perform. We are Manchester United. As we start this next project in the Premier League, I'm calling it a project, with losing a project player, Toby Collier, who Damarim does fancy, playing him in the first team, but it equals our biggest budget as one of the big players off the wage bill, £89 million to invest into our young squad. And of course, we've got to look for a replacement. But still, before we do that, I want to get these players playing more. Both our wingers in Robinson and Knowles have 98 pace, so I'm going to have them attacking. They're basically taking us to a 4-2-3-1 formation, or the 4-2-1-3, because Moukoko up front on his own. I'm going to make him a target forward. Now, I know that isn't his playstyle plus, but it works for Wheatley on the bench still, and you've got to play to the manager's shape, like Man United play in Ruben Amorim. And I think the only thing I want for this formation under MWS is a right-footed centre-back. So despite how good this man is, Araujo, I won't be going for him. There's another Araujo with a good right foot. But I won't go for him also. I want Odilon Kusunu. Not young at all, but honestly looks a brilliant centre-back who fits this formation like a glove, and there we land on him, leaving us £90 million, and I haven't actually gone and said it yet, but the academy is off limits. I think it's run its race. Don't see us getting any other players in there, as back to the first team. Can we work on this bench anymore? Because maybe we could go for a centre mid. Didn't see one of those on the bench, and there is Lucien Agume stuck in the championship with Coventry, and I cannot let that happen. I've saved him and inadvertently blessed him with what he can see from sitting on that bench, because look at this first team squad we have. 88s, 89s, a couple of 90s floating around, and of course my man Hurst, 23-year-old, 97 rated. He's unreal, as I've got questions, big questions to ask if we don't go ahead and win the league, because we've got the best squad in the world. Better than Real Madrid. As you can see, I'm releasing a few weak players who haven't come on the journey alongside us, including Harry Amas, who just hasn't been really good when others have in his position. Like Best, 6 goals, 7 assists, but our best player, Youssoufa Moukoko, actually above Hurst, as this is actually unreal. 12 points at the top, above the rivals Manchester City, meaning a Premier League in the cabinet, Champions League football for next year, and to go alongside that, our first domestic victory. So back to that cabinet straight away. Don't forget to put the FA Cup in there, but we don't put the Carabao Cup in. The rivals Man City win that one, so not done just yet. Hammered by Tottenham Hotspur, and like I said, not in the Conference League. We got knocked away from our slot, but honestly, what does stop us from going one further to the Champions League with this absolute god squad, which is a Man United reset? That's what I really love about this team. It's not Amorim's, it's mine. We've literally come from that budget saying 0, and now it says 160. With 6 zeros after it, I must add, because it's 160 million to go and invest in this squad with. As again, I'm looking at centre-back. This time bench centre-back, because Bennett, he's not been one that's grown nice. Also Gore, Dan Gore, I really feel sorry for him because I really wanted to use him. Recommended him so much to buy for championship teams, League One teams on my TikTok series, which, if you're not watching, make sure you are below, somewhere in the description, as whilst I'm looking at new players, I've gone ahead and found some old ones, and it's got me thinking, where are the OG bunch? Hiding as Marcus Rashford, 78 rated at Lens, as Rasmus Højlund at Nottingham. He wanted to stay close to Manchester. Same as Xerxes going to Liverpool, one of the bitter rivals, and Bruno Fernandes went to retire. That is a sensible option to make, as a lot of others did, like Casemiro, Johnny Evans, Tom Heaton. As these are the honourable mentions, we've got Garnacho, Yoro and Mainu, who I would love to sign back, but cannot due to the objectives of not signing past players. We need a centre-back, we need a big one, who hasn't played for United before, and I was going to go for a bench man, but Ronald Araujo, definitely within our pay grade. This man's insane for Barcelona, his defending from right back or centre-back, so I'm going to add him to the squad, and yet again, another 90 rated. And signing the best of the best when you are currently the best team only keeps you at the top. I mean, 70 points, that isn't much, you know. But it's enough for another Prem title over the rivals, Manchester City, who we beat in the Community Shield. Very nice feeling to beat the rivals head on. However, the FA Cup, which we count, and never count the Community Shield, as a trophy, is won by Southampton. Congratulations to them. Don't see them winning much in real life, as we beat them by a League 2 team, where we came from, and then a League 1 team beat us in the Carabao Cup. Coached by Super Steve Bruce. I mean, at least he does have experience. As Cheltenham was a surprise, but that's not a surprise. 4th in the division, or the league phase of the Champions League, as Lombardia hammered 5-1, Bayern hammered 4-1, and then on to Milan 4-0 to reach the final. But this is a surprise, not the team I expected to play. West Ham United. I wonder if they've got any of our old players. Let's have a check, because we did release all those at the start, and they've reached this finale. As they do, Kobe Mainu, they must have signed from Wolves, and also Lisandro Martinez at 34. He's playing amazingly. And I believe they were the side with Sancho at the start, which is a weird thing. As Araujo's rating already down 89, he's gonna come out the team. Fokasunu now 91, as this team looks absolutely phenomenal. With the cam, the main man, Hurst, 24 years of age. And it's at Wembley Stadium, so very close to West Ham United. A little bit of a cheat code. At least it's not the London Stadium, which is their home, as Balde tried to get past our man Robinson. The winger, as I'm looking forward to using a lot of our younger talents. However, 2 tackles in a row gives the ball to Jadon Sancho, drilling into the box. Get a tackle in. He's round Peters, who does get a foot back in. Bit of a chess game so far, this one, as Hurst. That's a good ball over the top, though, into Knowles. Knowles does cuts inside of his man, the man who didn't work out. Initially being played on the wing. It's a brilliant run from Knowles. 1-0 to Manchester United. My voice is slowly dying still, and that is perfect. He celebrates with 2 youth players, one of the OG ones, I think, from our first batch of academy players, ran all the way from the left to the right, which initially was his correct position. That's where he played, as now Hurst get that ball through that gap. Chase Balde down, come on. It's not done. We need to get more goals for a safety net, as here he is. Robinson making a lot of tackles forward, crossing it towards Makoko, falls to Hurst. Our main man Hurst. So close to a goal there, as now we need to try and stay away from Kobe Mainu. He will be up for this. Almost the start of the second half, which we need to get really playing in. Come on, Hurst. That's a nice ball forward. On to Knowles. Across the deck. Look at the curve. Look at the ball to Makoko, who in the middle taps it home. One of our key signings as well. Now, we didn't make many of those, so I'm so glad it's actually worked out. For our striker, get in, but Knowles, again on the left-hand side with that curler peach of a cross. Goalkeeper even dived out the way of it. I mean, I did do the press conference for this game, trying to make it easier. I thought it would be a bit more of a challenge. Makoko, if he's onside, this could get embarrassing for West Ham. They shouldn't really be in a final. Poor decision making from me. Tried to score a spectacular goal instead of just scoring the goal as all. That is a very good ball forward. Missed by their front man, which isn't the case usually. We usually get pegged back by a goal at least, as that's another ball towards their front man. Surely handled it. And did. The referee just took his time with the whistle. They're trying to let them back in it? Surely not, as it doesn't matter. We don't even get another move to go forward before the referee blows the whistle, giving our young team that Champions League title. What a run it has been from League 2 and not making a signing in our first season to this, the Champions League. And unlucky for some is number 13, but not unlucky for Georgie Hurst, I believe. That was his first name, no? Or name, I said that really weird. I'm gonna go lay down now, but if you do want to see this done with another team, maybe outside of the Prem, comment who should get the points deduction, who should get bankrupt, and if you do want to see this done before, click my hands or click on the channel. In terms of popularity, Manchester United are the biggest club to exist in world football. From Bobby Charlton and George Best to Scholes, Beckham, Roy Keane, it's been amazing. But now, a manager new to the country, and players like Marcus Rashford and Dandre Onana, it's fair to say the last 10 years or so haven't been good. So today we take on United and rewind history. They're not just going back to the class of 92 days where it was good. They are going to their prime with every single greatest player from every single year. We've got Bobby Charlton in the cam position, Wayne Rooney up front, Schmeichel in the net. But here is the twist, because the team is so goddamn good. Each time we lose, we must get rid of a player. And that will be decided by spinning this wheel, and the video ends once we win every trophy 5 times. Yes, people, this is unlike anything we've ever tried before. Prime Manchester United, every single one of their best players in one lineup, and I have got to say this mod's unbelievable. But it's not just United in their prime, we've got all the other teams. Every other team is also in their prime in this save. Plus, as you can see, it is a retro Premier League, made up by some teams still not in it, like Blackburn, like Bolton. And this is where I've got to tell you where you can get this excellent mod, and it is in the description. Shout out Shadowboy32. You can follow him on Twitter or Patreon to get access to it. Everything down there, and it's took him a long time to get this going, and a long time to think of this idea to make it difficult. As let's be honest, everybody's young, everybody is in their prime, and most of them have a face like Schmeichel does, Ryan Giggs does, Sir Bobby Charlton does, everybody running out of contract as well. That is something I am noticing, so we do have to sign some contracts off. But at the moment, 0 million, but still we shouldn't be struggling. With the players we do have, we could probably sell some anyway. As look how far down it goes. We've got players like Rowley. I can't lie, I've never heard of him, but I believe he's a United legend. And some more recent players like Carrick, now the manager of Middlesbrough. Marcus Rashford still at the club, and also David De Gea, with Ferguson in charge. But that's enough about our current team. It's our objectives we must focus on, as I've already shown you that wheel quickly. But this is it in more detail. It's got every single player in that squad on it, and if we just lose one single game, we spin this, and for example, if it's gonna land on Irwin would be gone. He's out of the team and we don't receive money for him. That's it. Dunzo. Completely out the squad. So, tactics we've got to get working, and I am gonna go tiki-taka. Getting the team right will be crucial, and already a player out of position in Dennis Irwin, as maybe that formation could be good. A 4-1-3-2, just Keane and Charlton out of place, but we'll change where they're actually playing, as I am going to go with fullbacks as well. Yes, a great team on paper, but I don't want to leak goals through. As do I go with Roy Keane or Scholes in the CDM role? I don't know. Even on the bench, we've got Cantona. We need a right back, and that's something we don't have. And all these awesome players here. As one thing we could try and do as well with Phil Neville. I'm going to make him fight his brother for the right back slot in this team. And George Best needs to change. Where would his best position be? It does say Cam, but I kind of want him as a right mid. And this first season, I kind of want players out of the club. I'm not going to transfer list anyone, but some do have to leave for contracts. And they randomly chose one. Sorry to Tony Dunn, but there's a bid in. And also David De Gea, I mean, I don't want to use him right here. Rather use Schmeichel, so we will sell both of them two players, giving us 26 million. And I'm going to put that into contracts. As can we get all 5 trophies? We need to win in season 1. Oh, sorry, we've got to win 4 trophies, 5 times overall. So the 4 trophies we must win is the Premier League, the Community Shield, the Super Cup, and the Champions League or Europa League. We can switch between those really, but we've got to win them 5 times, which will be really tough. As you can see, we win the Premier League, 92 points, so that's our first Premier League bagged. We'll put it in the trophy cabinet in a minute, and I did expect to win trophies here, but as you can see, not good. We took 6 defeats this season, you know, 1 less than Chelsea, and we aren't gonna get a Community Shield, which we were in, losing to Manchester City. So yeah, get the Premier League in the cabinet just for now, with no Community Shield to join it. That is hideous. As the Super Cup, we weren't in it, which is bad, but we don't have to lose a player because there was no games to lose, and we did start in the Europa League, and we didn't take a defeat, topping the league phase. Very good. And we didn't get beat by Besiktas. You can see 6-1 overall, 3-0 against Fenerbahce. That is a dominant whitewash, and the same against Galatasaray. We are really blitzing it with the 3-0s, and then Anderlecht in the finale. Yep, we've got a solid team. That good, we get 3 goals and a clean sheet in most games. So that is a Europa League, or shall we just call it UEFA Cup? As everybody was signed up, and let's be honest, we're going to lose 7 players here, but we still should have some good ones. I just hope we don't lose George Best. And next year, let's hope for a budget, as our top scorer in Season 1 was by far the icon of Tommy Taylor, the striker. Not bad, as Phil Neville. Oh my days, he's definitely played. We've just changed his position as well. We've got a few positions to change. The likes of Albiston, he's gone up as a centre-back, and I'll change the others off screen, but now we go to this tweaked rebuild. Don't see this in other rebuilds. We've got to spin this wheel 7 times. As the first player we're going to lose, oh my days, that's going to be Gary Neville. No, it's not. It's going to be Mark Hughes, who was our 3rd top scorer. So he's out the team, and then I'm going to do these 6 other spins really quickly. We are going to get punished here. We can't be taking 6 defeats with the greatest team in the world in its prime, so we're going to lose Bailey. Oh my days, we're losing David Beckham. That's going to be a hurtful one. And also Rio Ferdinand. Could this get any worse? Oh my days, I thought that was going to be Taylor. Hurd is the 5th. Okay, 2 more spins to go now. Didn't really hurt us that one, as the next one's Park Ji-sung, and the final one, Brown. I mean, that doesn't really hurt the squad at all. Less can be said about the other ones. As you can see, it's hurt our first team, but also might help us, giving us places to make signings. That'll teach us to stop losing things, as we have the Community Shield and the Super Cup. And this year we have a budget, 109 million. And you might be saying, Max, with the team you have, that should make players affordable. But this is a retro build. Players don't have the same evaluations. George Best's not really valued at anyone, and we know which position we desperately need. Gotta be right centre-back, replace that Ferdinand hole. But you know who did leave the club? David Beckham and Mark Hughes, who were our top scorers, going further in the double digits. As you know what else has got to go further in the double digits? The subscriber mark. We're on the race to 50k. If you subscribe and leave a like. And also maybe a comment down below. Tell me which rebuild next. This mod has everybody in their prime, don't forget, so it could be your team next. I'll be really grateful if you do that, as look at the players on show. We've got Pepe at Wolves. He can play every position. But it wasn't showing centre-back, and that is the role we're going to go for. Looking at the broader market, as we still do have some real-life players here, they still do exist, as Karl-Heinz Forster. The stats on this man: 89 defense, 91 physical, and although not 90 rated, he just fits the Ferdinand mold perfectly. 40.4 million. I'm gonna get the mullet man in, and hopefully a mullet man out of the squad in McIlroy. As you can see, lone listing a lot of players, and a lot of players that can play for the first team, such as Fletcher, now gone up in rating since we changed him to a DM. Same as Anderson, the youngster, and also Marcus Rashford. And by the way, if they do get loan listed, they still are eligible to leave the club if we have to release a lot of players come the end, which hopefully we won't be doing. Hopefully we win more competitions. As here's the first of many, Albiston, he's going to Austria. Blanchflower to the Dutch League, FC20. But Rashford, the weirdest, he's going to Manchester City. Fighting it out with Sergio Aguero, who has a lot of play styles. And that's the next player I want, someone who does have a lot of those traits. Someone who brings the excitement of Beckham, who was a right mid. And you know who that could be? It could just be Yannick Carrasco. Plenty of play styles, plus he won't play over Georgie Best, so I'm gonna go for it. The very weird signing of Carrasco. Yeah, a little bit of a weird one, but one I do trust. He could play behind Giggs, but I'm going to play him behind George Best, as he is still training as a right mid, so he might not have got the game time, which might hurt us a little bit, but still, we should have a good team. As I'm hoping for less defeats this year, sure, we probably have took some. Van Nistelrooy, 92. He still is getting played now, but Wazza is not. Also, Edwards in the DM role. He now needs to come out because we do have Roy Keane. Beautiful. Love it, Roy Keane. I mean, Forster's not hit a 90, and on the bench, Paul Scholes is a 93. Cantona's not a striker, and look at the bloody play styles on him. He needs to be in the team at some point, as yes, Scholes just doesn't fit in. We're going to go Taylor back up front. That is what's played year round. Just got to get rid of them centre forwards, as Schmeichel's now our best player. Obviously not our top scorer, as our top scorer goes to Taylor. Tommy Taylor with the most, Van Nistelrooy and Giggs replacing Hughes and David Beckham. Law now getting 11. And the other lone boys down here, none of them showing their ratings off because they are outside of the country, and this time in our own country, it's a 3-digit Prem win, 106 points overall, giving us our second Premier League title and 2 defeats there, as this is a bit of a weird one. We won on penalties but won 3-0 in the Community Shield, but still, that is a trophy in itself, and one we needed to win, as we also needed to win the Super Cup. That's our first 5 ticked off, but we need to win 5 of each, which will not be an easy challenge, and we did take defeats in the Champions League. That is 2 plus another 2, so we do lose another 4 players out of our prime team, as we squeezed through on penalties against who we beat in the Super Cup, and we didn't take a defeat to Madrid and no defeat to Chelsea. A 0-0, then a 2-1. Not the 3-0s we got previously, but we do get a 0 in the finale, beating Dortmund 1-0 to give us our second UEFA Cup. Wait, did I just say UEFA Cup? UEFA Cup, what's wrong with me? I didn't even capitalise as who's going to be our first loss. Folks, okay, I don't believe he's anywhere near the first team. Still, I don't like losing players because we're only going to get a smallish budget. Or maybe bigger this year, as we might be needing a left back. Patrice Evragon. I mean, we do have Dennis Irwin. Gotta stop losing games though. I can't take losing all these players. Gotta stop losing games though, as the next one we lose is Anderson. And the final one's going to be another reserve player, Violet. Shopping to be done again, as now I regret this move. Phil Neville, get to the other side. You might be playing alongside your brother now, not competing with him as best. He still isn't best at right mid. But my 2 focuses this season, the first one's going to be Wazza. Grow him as a striker. Come on, he's got to get into the right position now. As same as King Eric. Come on, you've got to get playing in this team. Playing their part as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I might try and loan out this season, but less of the loaning out and more of the bloody incomings, as our sweep of trophies last year picks us up an extra £47 million, or maybe 38 I think it is. Still, that's an extra player there. Or another quality player, as do we go for another left back? Or do we change this shape up? I mean, Neville will never play centre back, so maybe not in that case, but Best isn't training as a right wing, so maybe we just force him there, as what if we went with 2 DMs? Sorry to rude Van Nistelrooy, it does put him on the bench, but Edwards into this team, because a DM with 99 pace and 5-star skills just has to be played in this team. With backup of Carrick, Nicky Butt, Blanchflower and Darren Fletcher, we should just be fine if we change Ryan Giggs' positioning, which takes 81 weeks. Actually surprises me with how long it takes. Maybe again in the meantime, we could go and sign another winger who you just know is going to be good, and you might know from the club I'm focused on. Yes, Ronaldinho, him and George Best on the wings. Oh my days, like, mwah. That's a team complete. 47 million this time though, so yeah, he's not being cheap, and makes it only kind of possible to help behind him. And what I mean by that is we probably can't sign another 2 players with 59 million. We just need to search for the left back who's going to be supporting Ronaldinho, because Dennis Irwin, he's gonna be okay. We could get Dede, but he was only 87 rated, as maybe we replace Frenchman for Frenchman. Lizarazu, who's at Bayern, but then I've found a bit of a niche one. Ruud Krol, a player over in Ajax. Never heard of this man, but Fergie's going to be trusting him here to fill in his United team and make sure we win more trophies. As right, here are our ratings. Now it's Keenan, Charlton and Best on top, but I must explain myself if any ratings do look differently. I got really excited with this season. I went and kicked my PC like Eric Cantona kicked that fan at Crystal Palace all those years ago. As speaking of Cantona, no goals to be seen on the list again. Tommy Taylor tops the charts with Best and Dino. As yeah, ratings might not be right, but hopefully the trophies are, as I've replicated how we were doing, and let's see what our first team looks like. Here it is. Everybody signed up. You can see Keane, Edwards in the midfield. Our weakest player now is Forster at 90. Gonna be hard really not to win things, as there we go. Mixed feelings. We bossed the Premier League, but 2 defeats, no draws. Means it's our 3rd Premier League title, but we're unnecessarily losing 2 players. We didn't have to lose those. If we just won 2 extra games, we would have won every single game, as we do win the Community Shield. No defeat in that one, and that's our 2nd of the collection. Now, Super Cup, it doesn't show up, and I've got some explaining to do. I've had to simulate all the way through 3 seasons in a new game save file, but when I was in the last one, I did simulate the first month, and I did win the Super Cup. You can see the screenshots. We beat St. Etienne, so I'm going to count it as a new trophy. It didn't put us in it when I've simulated through. Just take my word for it. We won it, and that's all that matters. As from winning the Champions League, we go to bossing and winning every single game in the league phase, as here... Oh my days! Hamburg 1-0, but 2-0 on aggregate means they beat us twice, and we don't win the competition. I can deal with defeats in the Premier League, but 2 defeats in the Champions League counts us out of a trophy, and now it's 4 players we must get rid of. And let's not forget our squad size is littler this time round. Oh my days, and we've looked out. I think McIlroy is one of our weakest. As the next player we lose, oh, it's going to be Dennis Irwin. Good job we signed another left back, and that was very close to Vidic. As the next player, Law, I mean, again, it's not a first teamer. Been very lucky so far with the spins, but this one, man. Again, we lose a centre back, and this time, it is Vidic. And now it's obvious where we sign, as I've left it a little bit towards the season, because I want to see who is playing when I'm not kind of controlling this team. Our best left backs getting played, our front 3, they obviously are. Our DMs, however, they're actually not getting much game time. Same with Gary Neville, and now I've actually got a bit of a choice to make. A lot of DMs, as you can see, Butt and Carrick, but only 27 players, and when you've got punishments for losing games, we can't really loan them out, but then again, they're going into the first team. A weird objective, but one thing that really helps us going forward. Only 28 players allows us to see our budget and sign the contracts early. As 105 million, and he's not playing. He needs replacing. Our weakest player in the team is obviously Albiston. As when I've checked the reserves, 1, I've found Blanchflower playing. Also Darren Fletcher, and also only Silvestri. As a defender, pretty shameful. I would have hoped for better. As if we didn't have Bobby Charlton, we could have had Jude Bellingham. But it's not him we need, a defender, as Jose Santamaria. I've heard the name, not seen the player. Uruguayan, looks very decent. As do a lot of these players on this list. This is just a good flick through of what's in this mod. I knew as soon as we lost Vidic, we definitely needed a centre-back, and... oh no. That's definitely the wrong Maldini. We needed another player world class, and this is Paolo Maldini. Sure, he starts as a left back, but surely he's got to be a good centre. I'm actually not sure now. Will it take him long to train there? I mean, screw it. We do have the money. Might as well go out and sign him. As if he doesn't work out in the centre, Kroll has some cruel company. At left back, as you can see, it's Maldini, Kroll and Neville. As I feel sorry for Phil Neville. Didn't work out the first time and doesn't work out even in FIFA when he is given his second chance. As only 2 weeks, I knew it wouldn't be long to get him in the middle. Very nice work. Because do we actually need some more players now? I kind of think where? Where do we sign some good ones here? We've got Cole and Van Nistelrooy, Cantona and Wazza. Them 2 still not getting played, and to be fair, we could try loaning out our players, because I want them to work, and these 2 I've gone with Marcus Rashford to Bayern and Solskjaer to Bolton Wanderers. Right, and we need a step up on that trophy hunt. And a step up with the ratings. I'm not liking the increases. Gary Neville continues to grow. He's reached a 92 at right back. I guess that's no competition. And Roy Keane, 97. One of the best in the team. Maldini has played at centre-back. We've still got that to change. And Kroll, decent. Dino, 94. But look at the bloody playstyles. When I flick across, look, the plus ones. An unreal player as Maldini to a centre-back. Oh my days, 95. Right, he goes to the second highest. Or joint second highest. Of course, we've got to add him to the spinny wheel, and I hope we don't lose him. Yes, just behind Roy Keane. If the wheel ever landed on him, I'd be fuming with myself as top scorers. Okay. Dino gets the most again. Taylor now second place. I didn't actually expect him to get knocked off. And then best. And then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. 91 rated. He's got played at Bolton big time. Is that the key to some growth? Loaning our players out. Might have to loan Eric Cantona and maybe Wayne Rooney out as the Premier League this year. That is a lot better. It's first position with only one defeat. Brilliant for Manchester United. Yes, a few draws, but still, it's another trophy in the cabinet. As I've got 4 tallied off for Premier Leagues as Manchester City. Are they the only team we play in the Community Shield, beating them 2-1? As that's the third one of those I've got, but unfortunately for us, we didn't get into the Super Cup. I'm actually still gutted about that. As what I'm not gutted on, again, a clean sweep in the Champions League as the next round. Is that a win? Yeah, 2 wins, 2 2-1s, 4-2 over Hajduk Split, then 4-3 over Celtic, which means, yes, we do go through, but we did take a defeat there. As then no defeat to AC, yes, a draw in one of the legs, which I don't mind, 2 defeats, and then a Champions League title, making it a treble out of the trophies we actually enter, and a clean sheet finale. Thank you, Paolo Maldini. He obviously comes into the squad and has an impact as no. Oh my days, I thought that was going to land on him, but we do lose Van Nistelrooy, which is mental to say because it happened in real life and he was 92 rated. As the next we're going to lose, oh, it's Marcus Rashford as well. Gutted to be losing him. I really wanted it to work out for Marcus because of real life, but at least it works out budget-wise and team-wise. As again, I've simulated a little bit into the season, got rid of the players we don't need, and this is what we do need to change. Because 2 defeats too many. We don't want to lose another 2 players, and at least we have replaced, what's his face? Van Nistelrooy with Solskjaer, which is funny because Solskjaer was United manager, then Nistelrooy later on. Now they're swapping as players, albeit not with each other, as positionally, that's what I'm going to go with. Tommy Taylor's not the top scorer no more. Maybe there's a better player out there. There's got to be, as also just not working at all for us. Wayne Rooney and Cantona, maybe we just get rid of these 2 and make a bit of money, as these are the bids. They're not coming in for them. They're coming in for Georgie Best, 73 million from Real Madrid. You just know he's going nowhere though, as the first player to leave is Eric. Didn't show you where he's going, but then also Wayne Rooney. Oh, never mind, it's popped up when I've simulated day on. As Eric went to Rangers, Wayne Rooney goes to Lyonnais. And sure, we've got replacements on the bench, but I want a striker. Taylor just not cutting it for me. Sorry, Solskjaer could step in, but we need to go unbeaten, and we need the best of the very best. As ladies and gentlemen, I think I found the player we need. Jean-Pierre Papin, who's eating his necklace in the picture. One of the world's best. He's at Marseille, so not in the Premier League. Because I was thinking about Defoe, Peter Crouch, just for the banter. But no, I'm going the 95 overall with a release clause, as he's our first player on 200k joining Sir Alex Ferguson. As now this is getting towards the definition of a god squad. Still, he hasn't gone up in his overall, and I'm sorry, the only player that's growing. Gary Neville, 93. I just don't know what potential he has. And Maldini at centre-back, probably now the world's best. I'd imagine so with Schmeichel. Schmeichel not getting the game time. It's give it to Stephanie, who could have done quite bad because he is only 85 rated, and I don't like that, as all these players down here, they're doing okay, but they're not there yet. Or will they ever be as that attacker, man? I would think we've got some of the world's best. In Papan, in Best, in Charlton, some of the best in history, in fact. But it's our defensive and defensive midfielder that are the best, as it might not be overall wise, but George Best is the best scorer. Brilliant news as, oh my days. Right, this is concerning. It's a Premier League win again, and our 5th and final one. If I'm counting correctly, I hope I am. Fingers crossed I bloody haven't missed one. But 7 defeats all season. Right, we're getting rid of at least 7 players, which has the potential to be costly, as finally it's not Manchester City in the Community Shield, as at least we've calmly won a trophy there. And I hope I've not lost count. I hope that is our 4th. If not, I'm mistaken. We'll improve going forward, as this is our first prime rebuild save with a prime result, as hopefully I improve in the future. But we can't improve more than 7-2 in the Super Cup, as that should be our 3rd or 4th, I don't know, as another defeat in this season of the Champions League, where usually we don't actually lose any games. Annoying, as long as we win the competition. I'm hoping so anyway. Beating PSV 3-0, so we didn't take a defeat there. Beat Fenerbahce 3-1 in one leg, so that's a nice feeling. And then beat Bayern Munich, drawing in the other leg, to then reach a one-legged final where we don't take the defeat. 3-2 over Barcelona means yes, that's a Champions League title, if I've counted them right. But this could be very costly, as we're going to lose 8 players, and the first one is Roy Keane. That's one of our best players, and oh my days, it's going to be another one of the best. Maldini, our 279 rated's gone immediately. Joined by, oh my days, don't be, oh my days, it's Schmeichel, one of the players we didn't play, but still going to be a huge loss. Then Eric Cantona, who didn't get played at the squad, followed by Giggs, the bench player, and also Michael Carrick. I haven't been taking the players we've spun on off the wheel, so I'm surprised we haven't got a duplicate, as the penultimate one is Rooney, and finally, Blanchflower. At least the thought of ending this challenge kind of makes me feel a little bit better after losing all those players, as 166 million after contracts makes me feel good. But what doesn't, again, is looking at the team. Yes, we've got good ratings, apart from Nicky Butt and Albiston, and also Stephanie in goal. It's our defense that now worries me. If we lost 7 games or 8 games last time, this time could be even worse. Now the sleeves are going up. I'm going to be tryharding to make some signings, as the first thing I'm looking at, Phil Neville. Help us out, Phil, please. Go and play as a centre-back, as he could be the new Maldini. I mean, yes, he's a few ratings lower, but he's got 4-star weak foot. He's better than Albiston, or maybe even Nicky Butt. We could maybe try him at centre-back, because Darren Fletcher's going in. I've seen him down here. That's another man in there. Definitely go for goalkeeper, and if we've got money spare, centre-back and CDM. As where do we check for goalkeepers? Of course, we've got every single one in there. Prime. Ooh, as one's come to mind, him and his little hat. Lev Yashin, oh my days, he's at Leeds United, the rivals. They've been fighting for the title alongside us, so I might not go for him. Just feels unrealistic, again, to steal from a rival. But then that's been done in the past. Eric Cantona. You know what? Play it safe. I'm going to go for a player over at Atleti Madrid. Jan Oblak, one of the world's best, and plus he's still kind of cheap. Chet David De Gea, and no, he's not had any growth. And also Van der Sar, but I just didn't fancy him. Yeah, why not rewrite history, as now it's just 2 89s, and then their backups on the bench are both 86s, so that's got me confused. Neville has 2 backups though, Silvestri and Albiston, and with only 2 DMs, I think it's time to go and get another one. Can't believe we lost this man, and he's still actually a free agent. No one wanting Roy Keane absolutely blows my mind. Oh, and yes, I am just realizing I did spin on Cantona and Wayne Rooney, so I did release them from their clubs they went to. Forgot I actually sold them. That's my bad. I'm not going to spin the wheel again, for the sole reason that we don't have enough players in the squad. That's my mistake. I take the blame. I'll do better in the next retro prime rebuild, as that was a huge tongue twister, but this man is a twister in the making. Josep Guardiola, disguised by his real name, because you will know him as Pep Guardiola, and I'm going to try and get him. And you know, Johan Cruyff has said yes to the first bid, as this is rewriting history, Guardiola to United. And we can't really be caught ignorant. He has to start in this first team. We need to get the rating in there. So Guardiola, welcome. He's going to be fun to use, as this man should be almost as fun. Covering that final position, it is Paolo Maldini's icon friend in Francesco Baresi. And another huge apology to Phil Neville on that bench. You don't have to change position now. A good utility man at 90 rated. His brother is still better than him though, as this is our first team. 190 rated player, and it's Guardiola, the lowest of the bunch. Papin hasn't played. Who's actually played? You can see the bench right here. And the reserves, Tommy Taylor. He's becoming a legend of a legend. Not Solskjaer just yet, as rating wise. Let's look on this board. Look as we scroll down. 90s all over the bloody park. Only a few that aren't 90 rated, starting with Andy Cole and then going down. As going up though in goals, Tommy Taylor, it's just what he does. 39 goals, Ronaldinho on the other wing and George Best on the other. Is there a better front three in history? I don't know if there was all around at the same time as how have we done this? The first time ever. Yes, I'm using mods for this rebuild, but we have won the Premier League, scoring 106 goals, conceding only 8 with a 98 goal difference, which is genuinely insane, and we don't need to add that trophy to the cabinet, but we add this one, a 4-2 win over Arsenal. Said that a little bit weird, but that should be our 5th and final Community Shield. Needed as the Super Cup, we're chasing through with these. But a 2-1 win over Dortmund, the Yellows over in Germany, should equal our 4th, if I'm not mistaken. Which I can't lie, I could be. This has been a long rebuild. Maybe not shown on camera, but we did get no defeats in the league phase. Of course, we have cut the FA Cup and Carabao at this challenge, as we beat AC Milan 6-0, so yes, we didn't take a defeat there. 4-2 against Sampdoria, 2-2-1s, so no defeats. And 6-2 over Anderlecht. We haven't took a loss. Unless we lose in the UCL final, we won't discard anyone. Plus, we've had an unbeaten season. Plus, we can add to our players. As a 1-0 win over Bayern must mean this is our best season in rebuild history. No need to go to the wheel for this season number 7, and I tell you, I am feeling good about that, but still, the danger's not over. This team, could it improve anymore? I don't know. I think we've got the world's best. Still, there'll be others out there. The obvious, the recent obvious. But do we need them? As 147 million as well. Can afford a lot of players, but we've just not lost a game. Nor drew one, as I'm going to look at a few players we have let go. See where they've ended up, as David Beckham is at Barcelona. Rio Ferdinand, who left the same seasons, gone to the rivals Liverpool. And Park Ji-sung gone to Napoli. These are the first we lost. That's what I'm going to say, as where the heck do we signing this first team? I don't know, but on the bench there's room. There's 3 90+ strikers, then Carrasco and Albiston, and Stephanie under 90 overall. So I think my mission's pretty clear. I want to go unbeaten again if I can. Key things winning the Super Cup, but I'm gonna try and get a 90+ team. First, starting with goalkeeper. David De Gea still hasn't found a club. Like I said, halfway through season number 5 or 6, he hadn't grown. Oh well, who wants to be the backup really? When a team only concedes 8 goals and doesn't lose a game, it's a lose-lose, but Lev Yashin might be an exception because he is 94 rated and he might take the place of Oblak in the starting role. Yeah, sorry to big Oblak, it's going to be Yashin taking over Jan. As back to the bench we go, can we find that hidden right winger that we really need, as he's at Prime Madrid? Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, he doesn't play right wing and, to be fair, centre forward. Now, we struggled with Rooney and Cantona there. So instead, to his teammate, another fellow Portugueser, Luis Figo, 93 overall, will sit behind Best and is one of the world's best. But I tell you what isn't the best, his contract demands as 68 million and I believe 200 grand a week. Eats the majority of our budget away, 13 million pounds left. Don't know where the 242 came from, and I have no idea how I've spent over 400 million. Maybe that's overall in the squad. but I'm not going to go back and count it. As with Figo onto the bench, that looks very strong, but what is stronger is the first team at United, probably the best ever. And again, this is the third time I'm controlling Manchester United this year, or this season, probably like the fifth or sixth time this calendar year, from January to December, and I can't believe who the best player's been. Gary Neville, all this save, and ignore the age because he stayed 21. In fact, all the players haven't aged. They've all been young, they're all in their prime, and Gary Neville's grown the most. Who would have thought it? Definitely not me, as I'm hoping Papin played this year as top goal scorer, please. It is not him, it is Tommy Taylor, the absolute icon. As over our, what, 6, 7 or 8 seasons so far, this is the best team I've ever seen in career mode. And it makes sense, really, it's in his prime, but this season's not better than last season. 2 defeats, meaning we have to sell 2 players or release them if we don't go ahead and win that final Super Cup. As I stumbled on my words there because we bossed it, not conceding a goal and scoring 40 in the group stage. Mental, as in the round of 16. 6-0 against Athletic Club. Absolutely unbelievable. That's where we sold done to in our first season, but shock! After 5 Champions League wins, we are beaten by Bayern Munich, making me a little conscious, you know, about our Super Cup endeavours. As yes, some of their ratings, of course they've beat us. Look at their players. Pretty sure I saw Law in that mix, who was an ex-Manchester United player. We released as the Community Shield. That has gone and been won. Now suspenseful music, because the save could be over here if we do go and win the Super Cup, as we faced Rangers. And we beat the Scottish team 4-0 after rebuilding Celtic not too long ago on the channel, as that's our trophies completed. We have done it. Get in there. Finally, with this amazing team. It is amazing, and we could have played a game with them. Maybe we do in the next one. This is the first time I've done a prime rebuild save. I wanted to make it different to the retro rebuilds we did last year, as they will be coming very soon. I assure you of that. As if you do like this one though, which team do we do next? Comment down below or click my hands for another. Ruben I'm Not Him and Ange Poster No Clue have just played in the dullest, flattest, peakiest Europa League finale. But Big Ange has won the trophy for Tottenham, meaning Manchester United go through another horrible season, but this time no trophies. Manchester United are in a crisis at the moment, and if they don't really sharpen up, they could find themselves in the Championship soon. But not to worry, guys, because I'm going to be taking over. As Amorim says he'll walk, and that's what he does, going to another club, leaving me to pick up the pieces, get the players loving their football again, back into European competitions, and this time, winning them. As yes, people, here we are, Manchester United under my management. However, some things are going to stay the same. I've got a clear idea for this rebuild. But yes, Amorim is gone. He is done. He is finito, leaving me to pick up the pieces, but I might just stick with his formation. And we have gone ahead and used life points. So these are the objectives we do have. Finishing a Champions League spot and win the FA Cup, but I have some different ones. As yes, welcome back to the 5 challenges we have to complete. The first one, very simple. It's kind of a real life struggle. As in real life right now, Tottenham are said to get £100 million from winning the Europa League, so we'll do the opposite. We have to make 100 million revenue. That will require players sold, plus we've got to buy players in order to improve this team, as the rest of the challenges will be open shortly. Once we make that 100 mil, as now, how are we going to do it? Well, I think there's a given right there. Jadon Sancho back at the club after his loan. Marcus Rashford now. He wasn't favoured under Amorim. Do I give this man a chance because he's done okay at Aston Villa? Anthony got a special something still, but I don't think I'll be using him this time. And also Garnacho. Now, after the Europa League finale, he did an interview saying he was angry at the amount of game time he got in the finale, but I really don't want to sell him. Maybe a loan deal would be best for Garnacho. Give him the Marcus Rashford treatment, but then the strikers, don't get me started. Xerxes and Højlund. Now these two just can't score. And there's a few more on this transfer list. One player that's just won a cup. Treble and Balon, I believe, just won the Dutch league. Maybe I'm wrong on that. It's 1-1 competition, I know that. And then we're going to loan out loads of the young boys, including Garnacho, Chido, Obi, and Aiden Heaven, the centre-back. Oh, and get this. Right, we've got to make 100 million in profit. But none of the cash we make, we can spend. It's going straight to the Glazers. I know that's not what you want to hear, but profit's got to be made to keep the club afloat. And first sales first. This is Treble and Balon, one of the transfer listed. Of course, I do want to sell the transfer listed players, but we could end up getting rid of a first teamer. That 100 mil's got to be made, and that's 10.9 into the bank. And this is rubbing it in a little bit. Spurs going for Anthony, the team that just beat us in the finale, stealing one of Manchester United's best players. Joking, United fans, joking, as another winger departs the club. The recently signed player, Jadon Sancho, goes permanently to Chelsea, taking us up to 75.9 million. Probably one more sale to go. Or maybe two, because the first one, Rasmus Højlund, I said I wanted to sell a striker. And he's departing the club alongside Onana, going to the rivals. Why the heck City want this man? I do not know. Terrible goalie. At the moment, as that takes us past our 100 million we needed to make. And that is the first challenge completed. As the second one, we just have to finish top 4. Hopefully it will be this season. And with only 86 million to spend, I'm only making one signing. And come on, I've got to go realistic. It's definitely a signing happening. Matheus Cunha to Old Trafford. But then again, we don't have a goalie. Leaving me to trust this man, Bayern, 28-year-old. Is he Man United quality? No, but still, I'm impressed by this team a bit. Bruno Fernandes hitting a 90 rating. Jeez, he's had a good season. And then Cunha, he's gone to a striker. I switched his position immediately. Mazraoui being the first one, an 85 at right midfield. Casemiro, I was going to change and have changed, but he's getting released by the club. Gotta make money off his wages. And Marcus Rashford to a cam. Luke Shaw to a centre-back. I think Dorgu's gone to a left mid, and Garnacho's gone out on loan and not impressed too much. We need the attitudes out the club, and if he's not improving on loan at Nice, maybe he's next to be out the club. As Matheus Cunha, 26 goals. And I'm also trusting this man who's been frozen a little bit out by Amorim. Kobe Mainoo's back in the team after this season playing less than Casemiro. And Ugarte in minutes, but we don't complete the second challenge. A 6th place finish without European football as well. This is shocking for Manchester United. We should have been in the top 4 at minimum. We've got bigger challenges than just top 4, as we lost on penalties to Everton. We lost in the final of the Carabao Cup to Southampton, who are now in the Championship, and Tottenham Hotspur won the Super Cup. Just to rub it in, the trophy we should have been in this season. And with the rating increases we've got, we should have been higher up than 6th place. It's embarrassing, and I'm actually surprised we've got a budget as big as that. 69 million. Now, we don't need to make 100 mil in revenue. However, the transfers are on strict, so players are going to cost more money. We've got an aging Harry Maguire, no goalkeeper of quality. For me, we need some defensive winners. There's an ex-Man United player who's just won something, and I might have to go and look at him, but can we make more money? Can we sell some players? Mason Mount's rating's actually gone up, 81 as a cam, so maybe Garnacho, yes, he's young, but he's the lowest rated, so can depart the club. I don't care. I'm not using him in this career mode. 36.7 million profited to spend this season. And if you don't like the fact that I've just sold Garnacho to West Ham United, there are more Man United rebuilds on the channel, linked below. Or just click on the channel, and whilst you do, please do drop a subscription. It's completely free, and please leave a like, as now we go in for that goalkeeper. As I said, ex-Manchester United, and just has won a trophy. And just has played in Europe, made a transfer to Eintracht Frankfurt. Dean Henderson will cost roughly what we made from Garnacho. And not only is he ex-United, but he's also ex-Grimsby Town. Always got to get my Grimsby mentions in, as he's back at Old Trafford. This time the number 1 shirt. He's very happy, and I'm glad to have him back here. As when I've put Shaw and Lisandro into the defense alongside Matthias de Ligt. Looks like midfield we could use most, because Dorgu can interchange with Rashford, giving us 2 options on the wing, as maybe we we do go back to another ex-player, one with 11 goals, 6 assists in Serie A this season. Scott McSauce, and his evaluation's actually more than his release clause. Gotta capitalise on that, and it's a good deal for the owners, Sir Radcliffe and the Glazers, and hopefully gets us top 4 football. No more McFred, it is McMinu. That sounds like McDonald's. To me anyway, maybe I've just got McDonald's on the mind. As Fernandez 92 overall, and overall a solid team. It looks like Dorgu's gone ahead and left us. Bloody hell, Patrick. Leverkusen replacing Grimaldo. We could have made some money on him, but at least we do have goal scorers. Mateus Cunha with 29, Mount 20, Fernandez 24. But it is the season of comebacks. Scott McTominay back at United with 22 goals from midfield. Insanity. Then the lone boys have not done too bad. Collier, Heaven, Amas and Williams. But only one player in the team of the season. I thought there'd be Scott McTominay there.
You all laughed at me. Well, I have to say, you're not laughing now.
Certainly not, and guess what? I'm not laughing at that finish. Yes, 20 points off City, but it's second, and that's a top 4 finish. That completes our objective, but before we actually see the next one, we've gone ahead and won the FA Cup over Spurs. Revenge for the Europa. Ange can keep that trophy because Bruno's now got another FA Cup. Love it as Nottingham Forest win the Carabao. They've signed Gyökeres. I couldn't believe it when I actually saw it. As Stuttgart in the Europa League finale? Come on, Manchester United. We've got to be beating AZ Alkmaar. Supposed to be the biggest club in the world as Champions League expectations. Win the Champions League, then win the league, win the cup. Has Jim Radcliffe and the Glazers actually now thought it is the time? No Ruben Amorim phases, we've got to go out there and do it. Although our expectations are different, this team is not how I thought it would be. Mazraoui at right mid, then Rashford playing at left mid. And I can understand why the board think we've got to go for it, because look at the age of the squad. We've got some aging players, including Bruno at 32. And yes, them objectives do not match the ones that I've got. I thought this would be a process thing, because now we've finished the top 4 objective. We just have to win a trophy, which we've actually already done, but we've got to do it in order. And then the next 2 challenges after that, pretty difficult. As 169 million, at least the board's backing us with some money. However, contracts do need paying. We've got Mazraoui out, Mateus Cunha, and Chido Obi I would have hoped for better on. He's actually still miles behind Xerxes. A player I really didn't think could play, as we do lack defenders on the bench, but down here we've got some decent ones in Harry Amas and Aiden Heaven. Young guns now, can they make a difference to Manchester United? With Rashford not being a left mid, Amas could go and be that. Luke Shaw now 31, he needs replacing pretty pronto. Do I gamble with that? Because that could be the future. I want to just make one big signing this season, not loads of small ones. And not actually a returning player, so to cover for Aiden Heaven, Delo's going to be a centre-back. He's running out of contract, and I'm going to release him at the end of the season, and I'm going to bring in this man. His defensive stats are amazing. I'm surprised the big club hasn't took a chance. No offence to Brentford, but on Nathan Collins. He's been around Brentford and Burnley, but now he needs his big shot. And did I think I would be paying 81 million for Nathan Collins? But hey, you've got to do what you've got to do, and he should be kind of similar to Maguire, higher rated, and hopefully carries us to a trophy. Oh, and I can't do this. I actually cannot manage Man United. It's a 5th place finish in the league, below Chelsea, with all our good players. £80 million on Nathan Collins, and we do get a trophy. Community Shield, do we count it? I think we might have to here against City. We want to move on to the better things, as City still beat us in the FA Cup, and City win the Carabao Cup, so at least we do have that big 50p piece for our cabinet, and yes, I'm counting it. I'm being petty. Guardiola said it counts, so I'm going to say it counts as well. Should have been in that Super Cup that's won by Stuttgart in a German derby. Oh my days as well, we just squeezed into the knockout rounds. We are haunted by the old Dutchman, Ten Hag, beaten by Feyenoord. This season's been a disgrace. We've got Fernandez going down to an 89 rating, Amas not going up at all, 77. And guess what? Now we completed the trophy challenge, that's that one ticked off, as the next one was to have 3 90 rated players here. And it's back to losing some players. Do or die season. Dalot goes, leaving us this bunch of players. And how on earth do we get 90 rated? No chance it can be Bruno now. He's on his way down. Mazraoui maybe? Henderson's 31. McTominay also 31. So trying to use some logic, Ahmad and Mazraoui should be 90 rated very soon, but no one else is even close, and that's upsetting me. We need to sign maybe just one player guaranteed to be over 90 overall. By the end of the season, keep my arms, legs, toes, fingers crossed we get some 90 overalls inside our squad through growth. There's 177 million. Of course, the best way to get players grow is do well in the tournaments. But ultimately, it shouldn't be about who we sign. It should be about our players growing by winning games of football. And I must be close to the sack, and the expectations are up there again. Win the Premier League title, win the FA Cup, and Europa League. We're back in the trophy that started this, with Tottenham winning it over Manchester United on Wednesday. And this is actually being filmed on the Thursday straight after it, as I think we need to sell a defender to replace with a defender. Or midfielder, because Dalot's going. Xerxes only 81 rated. And Obi's not had an impact. I really thought he'd be a better striker. And what about go big or go home? Victor Osimhen. Matheus Cunha scores goals. But Victor Osimhen's just a brilliant player. No idea why he went to Galatasaray. No offense meant by that, but I really thought he would go to the Premier League straight away. We do have strict transfers on, so I'm expecting over 100 million on this man right here. And I'm taking a gamble, a 29-year-old. Risking him almost hitting the rating, and Cunha's going back to Cam, allowing a shuffle round with some players because I know Bruno won't hit that 90 overall again. Holy moly, and for all things holy, how have we done this again? It's fourth. Yes. We're back in the Champions League, but that record. Won the most games in the league, but 10 defeats. We're needing 3 over 90 rated players, and I'm going to ruin the last objective right here. We have to win a treble with Manchester United, and at the moment, I've got no confidence in it. Despite picking up an FA Cup, if you're angry with me counting the Community Shield as a trophy, at least we have won an actual one there. And to be fair, 2. The Carabao Cup is won. Now that's really good. 2 trophies for United. Could we complete a treble here where we did well in the group stage? All my days and we've done it! We've won a treble, but I'm going to hold the horses. We have to do a challenge each at a time, so we need them 390 overall players. Then we need to win a treble, but it's very nice beating Monaco in the finale, righting the wrongs of real life, and yes, 3 trophies this season. It is good, and to be fair, we do have the 90 overalls here. Osimhen hasn't really played. It's Mazraoui, McTominay, De Ligt, and Henderson. Dino is 90 overall. Fantastic, as look at the Cam scoring. Cunha getting 35. He's got to be a Cam himself, and at the age of 30, he does have really good stats, and all my days, a 94 overall. Matheus Cunha is a god. And could we actually do it next season? This job is not done, and because I counted the Community Shield as a trophy early on in the season, as, hey, look at that, 223 million, I am not going to be counting any minor trophies like the Europa League or Community Shield towards the treble. We've got to end on the Champions League, surely. A Champions League treble, because then we can end on playing the game for that one, as they want us to win everything like they have done every bloody season. I've stuck with the Amorim shape. The owners have stuck by me, and I'm gonna stick by, well, sorry Bruno, I'm not gonna stick by you. You might get a place on the bench to maybe see us lift all them 3 trophies, and Marcus Rashford getting older, but no, he's not my left mid. Harry Amas made a shout for it, and good on him. He's increased in 5 seasons. But could we add another 90 rated player to the mix? I want to go big, and maybe going big is a winger. They usually get the higher ratings, and of course Ronaldo off the table. Maybe we get the next one, Rafael Leao. Now he's played with CR7. Is behind Vinicius Jr. in the pecking order at Real Madrid. At least Bruno will go out with another Portugueser in the squad. Nice to give him a friend, but sorry, that friend's going to replace you. As another player that needs replacing, I let go of Joshua Zirkzee, leaving a place open on the bench and welcome in Amin Gouiri. He goes straight onto our bench, but wow. This Man United squad, which McTominay is now the captain of, just look at it. Look at it. Mateus Cunha at a 97. Osimhen, Amad Diallo. Not getting played as much as Marcus Rashford and Mount 88. I think we've made the best Man United squad ever. Even Dean Henderson, the second highest rated player, +3 at 33. Let's hope the treble's delivered because we honestly don't have long left. In most of these players, as Cunha outscored by Marcus Rashford. 44 goals, Marcus. 44. That's insane. Genuinely no idea how he's got that close, as look at the league table. That is 1 of 3 we need, only 2 defeats, 88 points. Man United out on top, and that is 2 of 3, because I'm counting the Community Shield today. Man United need all the help we'll get, and that includes trophies, but the FA Cup, man, losing to Cunha's old team. Might be a little bit upset with that, but he's 97 overall. Probably winning the Ballon d'Or and Carabao Cup in the cabinet as well. That's technically the treble complete, or the quadruple, because the Super Cup. But I said I wanted to end on that Champions League trophy. I'm starting at the semi-finals because obviously we made it there. We beat Arsenal 4-0, meaning in the finale, Milan. And this is going to be interesting. We've just signed Rafael Leao, an ex-player of theirs. But does he fit in our team? With Rashford scoring all the goals, I think I've got to go for a shuffle round, but it's Amad I'm going to take out. I'll leave Leao on that wing. And a final at Wembley, led out by Scott McTominay. Yes, he's back at Manchester United as captain. A bit unlucky for them. Seriously, a final at Wembley. We've only just had to travel down north, and this formation's going to have to take some getting used to. As Rashford, he's right cam, but he started very far out, and Rashford scores one of the best goals I think I've ever seen in a game. From kickoff, the number 21 cuts inside on the left foot. Amorim wanted rid. I don't. I'm trusting him. Make that goal 47, and all my days you've dived in. Mateus De Ligt, Dean Henderson, big save. We need to block. Don't let them get at us much, and don't make mistakes in the defense. Of course, there's only 3 of you back there, and Leao with the ball towards Osimhen might fall here to Mazraoui. Oh, he's given a free kick. What? How is that a free kick? A player's not allowed to jump now? Apparently not in this first half. Very quiet, but there's another save, Henderson, who's had to be called into action. And Mainu, you need to get that away. Eventually, Cunha with the clearance as McTominay back in the middle. Him and Mainu's worked well as a partnership, but still can't lose the ball as the midfielders. Osimhen's been a bit null and void, but now there's a chance for him. We're going over the top to try and cross to him first time. Leao puts it past him. And now Mateus Cunha. That's the best run I've seen from Victor Osimhen. Now, if he puts his head down, runs at the defender on the angle. Brilliant save, Chevalier. And once more, no one there for the rebound, but I don't blame them. He should have left that for Rafael Leao, who does get the ball right here. Leao, can he do the same as Marcus Rashford? Maybe fell into the back of the net. It doesn't though, and the game still goes on. Mateus Cunha from range, a save, and that marks the final whistle. The goal from Marcus Rashford very early into the game gives the trophy to Scott McSauce. McTominay will lift it back at Manchester United after probably lifting it against AC Milan, or probably in real life. I'm trying to say he's won the cup. Over in Italy, over Milan, over everyone, because he should will with Naples. As if you've enjoyed this video and want more, click my hands for what YouTube recommends. 42 goals and 30 assists in 136 games for Brian Mbeumo, and 29 goals and 13 assists in 82 for Mateus Cunha in the Prem. These two lads are the new Manchester United signings alongside Leon, who will be coming in for the 2025-26 season under Ruben Amorim, looking to rebuild Manchester United after a 15th place finish, which is what we're going to do today. As yes, people, diving straight into this one right here because I've got a lot I want to do with Manchester United in the United rebuild. For the 25-26 season, this is the starting 11 that we have been given. I mean, Amas out wide, Dorgu, not great. However, this rebuild is about 2 players mostly for the first few seasons. Brian Mbeumo, there he is in the new Manchester United kit. And Mateus Cunha is the same. I cannot wait for these 2 players to play for Manchester United. Now, I'm not a Manchester United fan, but I think these 2 signings are absolutely perfect for what the new manager wants. In this new shape going into the next season, we're going to get tactics, we're going to get everything done, including a shuffle out, because as you can see, so many players players in this United lineup, and this is the other new signing, Leon. He looks pretty old. As speaking of old, 3 players that Manchester United have released in real life, the 24-pace Johnny Evans, Christian Eriksen, and Victor Lindelof. As our aim here is to win every single trophy possible with Manchester United, including that Ballon d'Or, which could go to one of the first team players now, or a signing we're going to make. Could it go to Rasmus Højlund? Could it go to Bruno Fernandes? Could it even go to Alejandro Garnacho? Well, probably not, because for this rebuild, I'm going to try and mimic what I think may happen in real life. Probably won't exactly, but I am going to be transfer listing him along with a lot of other players. I mean, Joe Hugel's just made a move to, is it Oldham or Barnet? It is Barnet after looking it up, and we've got a massive transfer list together, including Rashford, who is very closely linked with Barcelona. So if we could sell him there, that would be perfect. We've got Sancho, we've got Bennett transfer listed, and the rest of them is just youngsters. I mean, Chido Obi is on that list. And our budget is only 58 million coming after a 15th place finish. Jim Radcliffe's already put his money in on Mbuemo and on Mateus Cunha. So it looks like we're not getting left with much, as our aim is to get into the Champions League and win the FA Cup. That would be a brilliant trophy start. We need to win 7 overall, but before we sign our first player, because I am going to sign one in this window, I'm going to sell some of the ones we don't want, including Jadon Sancho. He's gone permanently to Chelsea, which was unexpected. Then we've got Marcus Rashford. We couldn't get him to Barca, so Spurs he goes. This is being recorded on the 22nd of July, so that move to Barcelona could have actually gone through for him by now. As loan deals as well, Louis Jackson to Paris FC. Sonny Al-Jafri's gone to Notts County, but in this save he goes to Pisa. And what is our budget looking like? Well, at the moment it's 138 million. And the signing I do want to make, like I always say, I do want to stick near rumoured ones. And you see, they've just had a pre-season friendly of Manchester United, and they played a defence like this. I think there was another defender in there. Was it Luke Shaw at left centre-back? I think it was. Bayandir was in. Also, Leon was on that left-hand side where I've placed him for now. Of course, I'm going to take him out and show you my squad that I am going to be starting with. I might just do that as well. I'm really struggling on this man. Bryan Mbeumo and Amad Diallo. Which plays out wide and which goes into that cam slot? As actually, could Bryan Mbeumo be our striker? If we do make him a centre-forward, there's more chance of him winning the Ballon d'Or. Or he can be a left mid. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to judge him off goals in season numero 1. As is also Anthony at the club. Poor Anthony. He's not going to get used. However, Fernandes is, as more of a centre mid than a cam. We have a lot of position swapping to do. You can see I'm trusting Luke Shaw season 1. I want Dorgu maybe out on loan. I know that's not realistic, but this is FC25. And we need him to grow, as let's go for that first signing. It was a player rumoured with a move over to, I believe, the Saudi Arabian leagues. But something must have broken down, because Emiliano Martinez linked with Manchester United. And with Onana being our current keeper, I definitely need to bring somebody new in. And Manchester United fans, it doesn't look an easy fix, does it? Look how messy this is. Our wingers, our cams, everything just seems a little bit all over the place, including the players we loaned out as OB +7. We've got Anthony at Monaco, as imagine Anthony and Paul Pogba on the same team. But then we have position swaps. Bryan Mbeumo is the first. Going to risk making him a striker? Usually it's Visser up front with maybe Mbeumo up front with him or on the wing. When I have watched the rare Brentford game and Bruno Fernandes back centrally, he goes to an 89 as Luke Shaw to a centre-back 83. And then the youngster Leon, who I'm going to loan out, goes to a 67. That's when he's at left mid, as Dorgu's still going to go there. He was on loan at Udinese. Toby Collier went to Blackburn Rovers. We've got Vitek, who went over to Portugal. Or maybe it was Spain, and then Harry Amos actually went out to Spain as well. As Mbeumo, 25 goals. Mateus Cunha, 22. Looks like these two have had a magic link up, as I am going to change this team around a bit more. I'm going to make Luke Shaw central. Now Dorgu can come back to the left. And although there is options to go on the right, I think I'm going to sign my own right midfielder, as it looks like we definitely need to. that is the Premier League next season. I'm ashamed to say it is improvement. It's only one more defeat than Arsenal in second, but a 7th place finish. I think that puts us in the Conference League. And I didn't expect to win the Premier League Season 1, but I expect a trophy. Look at the finalists. We actually lost to one of them in Norwich City, a championship team in the quarter-final. When there was a chance to win a trophy there, as Sheffield United beat Man City. And Sheffield United beat us. That is 2 for 2 in losing to championship clubs. As obviously no European football, Chelsea went and won the Europa League. And Aston Villa won the Conference, which is hopefully what we aim for next year. I don't know which trophy we put in, the Europa or the Conference, but please leave a prayer because there's still 7 trophies to win, and leave a like on the video. Also subscribe if you're new around here, as here's the players we've got back. I mean, our right mid could be Anthony. He's higher rated than Ahmad and Mazraoui. Also, if you're wondering where Garnacho went, I will show you in a minute. We made another sale last year. There's another player we haven't spoke about leaving, but some reports online, I don't know the truth in them, have said he might leave Manchester United, the 70 million Rasmus Højlund. That would leave Mbeumo as our striker, as we're expected to win the FA Cup again, and no continental success? Of course, Sheffield United. They won the Carabao Cup and Crystal Palace won the FA Cup, meaning this team isn't in Europe, and with rating increases, that is criminal. I guess the only thing we can do is try and work on ourselves and work on our bench, because that is absolutely stinky. Still giving a wage to Casemiro. In fact, I'd rather have this as our bench. Toby Collier from the start. We've got Leon, we've got Amas, and Chido Obi, I think, needs one more loan year before the true Great Dane comes back and rips the Premier League apart, as £119 million just need a right mid. We lost Sancho, we lost Rashford, who were wide players, and then this man. Garnacho ended up at Bournemouth. I mean, if you're not going to play, I'm going to accept any offer I get. You don't get to pick and choose with me, as now we're selling off some slight deadwood. Players I don't see here in the long term, including Diogo Dalot, Rasmus Højlund to Crystal Palace, because Mbeumo's going to be our striker, which is a gamble because we've left the right wing slot completely open, as then Onana and Malacia. Onana getting a move to Arsenal, and here's me hoping he doesn't work out there. So yes, this right mid slot. Mazraoui's got it covered for now. And Mbeumo and Diallo could be there. As maybe I go like this. We go for a cam. Someone just behind Mbeumo. As there's 3 slightly linked players, I'm going to go for one at the moment who I want to revive the career of. Now, this might not please all Man United fans, but Christopher Nkunku, he did have links. I don't think he's that bad. A little mismanaged at Chelsea. He's got his iconic celebration. He really needs game time. And then I've just looked at some reports. They're linked with Evan Helland. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop up the youngster, see if he can play on the wing or can play at centre-back. And then I'm going to swipe up Christopher Nkunku, try and revive his career and play Ahmad out wide. And here are the ratings going into this end of season. Now, Mbeumo at an 89, still behind Martinez and Bruno Fernandes. Then Luke Shaw is propping it up. He's got 5-star weak foot, this man. I've been playing him central of the defence, and I've got to say, he's been pretty good. Long gone are his days of scoring own goals in competitions in Europe. As Christopher Nkunku, +2, so he has got the game time, and I need to change Ahmad. I'm going to risk him being a right mid. It does take his rating up for this save. Then Helland I haven't changed yet. I do want to see how he does after a loan deal. See if centre-back suits him or maybe out wide as Patrick Dorgu. He is going to go out wide to an 82 at only 22. Love how easy it is to grow him. But can I just say this is the biggest growth I have ever seen in career mode. Diego Leon to an 80 +12. At Sassuolo, as Obi goes down, he's only a 75 growth and then a +7 for Wheatley. 275 strikers right there. Harry Amas is getting left behind. Of course, Toby Collier we kept on our bench as our top scorer going into this season. And Mbeumo 28. We got a load of players over 20. And Nkunku did pretty good, as this is the team. The lowest rated is Kobe Mainu. No, I know he hasn't played every game under the manager Ruben Amorim, but this is where I overrule him. I'm actually going to play him more than Agate. As Agate's training as a centre mid, it'll take him ages, but we've won our first trophy. And how good is that to start with? The Premier League title +8 over Man City. Get in there. Let's put it straight in the cabinet. Leaving 6 and that Ballon d'Or. Oh my days, it could have been a double. Liverpool beat us in the FA Cup finale. The rivals beat us there. However, we beat them in the Carabao, so it shows we are closely matched. And that is another trophy. Unfortunately, we don't get put in the Super Cup from any of them. We've got to win a European competition to probably get in the hardest trophy of all. But at least winning the Premier League puts us in the Community Shield for next year. And we go into the Champions League this year. Can't wait to try and win that one without Anthony. Oh dear. Oh no, how can we win without him? I think you'll sense sarcasm in my voice right there, as now I'm going to make changes to the bench. I want Chido Obi on there, Leon, we've got Agate to change still, and Toby Collier. But I am going to keep them as my backup mids, and I know we've got Obi and Wheatley, but I do think a more suitable striker would be a brilliant option behind Mbuemo, who is going to stay as our striker. And I don't want to change Mainu, so maybe another centre-back if there is one on the table. Although we do have Lenny Yoro, potential to be special, and he's rotting on our bench. And Agate could go into centre-back, but I'm trying to avoid that in this save. Mazarawi just keeps taking bloody ages to change to a centre-back position, as maybe I do just try him at right mid. It's not where I want him to actually play, but now we're losing Anthony, I think it's the best option, as Leon can share game time with Dorgu. And I just keep looking at Mainu. Now, I really want to use this man, but there's actually a player that Manchester United are linked to very loosely, and he's been very good on the world stage. And with us in the Champions League, I think it would be perfect just for now. Fabian Ruiz. Now, he is 31, so he's not going to play for long. However, him and Bruno in the midfield. He's a left footer, Bruno a right. I think it would be a good partnership, and I think it's like when they tried to sign Rabiot, albeit a few seasons ago now, and that's actually perfect. I think that's a bit more experience. We've got the 3 new attackers. As Mbuemo didn't come to Manchester United to actually sit up front as a striker. Or maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't expect him to play there in real life as Victor Gyökeres. Very much linked with a move to Arsenal, but has worked with Amorim over at Sporting Lisbon, so I'm very tempted to actually go for this guy. However, I'm enjoying Mbuemo up front. 29. I've used him at Arsenal. I'm actually going to say no to the Gyök on this occasion. And you're probably going to say Maxis is a complete waste of money, but he's only at Fiorentina, and for a backup, Moise Keane? Why not give this man a try? He's 85 rated, fits on our bench, which has now got mostly over 80s apart from Bayındır, the backup goalie. And yes, I have signed 2 30-plus players in this save, including Emmy, but he's doing well. And can you blame me? We need players who are going to do well, especially when we're playing Trophy Hunters. Please, we're against Liverpool in the Community Shield. Goddamn Mazarawi missing a penalty. Disappointment, but still, we know we are standing on business when it comes to Liverpool, because look at that. They finished 8th. We finished top of the Prem again. That puts this out of my mind, although this is a trophy that we needed to win in the Premier League. Wasn't, because we've already won that last season. We need something new, and we get something new. Right, we're back into the Community Shield 2 ways, and we win the FA Cup, making it 3 of now 7, and I think the only thing we need to do is stand on business outside of England, as Manchester City beat us in the final of the Carabao, as 8 straight wins in the Champions League phase put us against Leipzig, Gyökeres' team, and we managed to beat them. So maybe we might think about making a signing from them, as we beat Liverpool on penalties. If only we could have done that in the Community Shield, as then Real Madrid beat us 3-1, and that probably means Vinicius Jr. or Rodrigo or Kylian Mbappe will go ahead and win the Ballon d'Or, as we need a Ballon d'Or winner out of our team, and the only player I think up for it is Bryan Mbuemo. He's now 91 rated, plus he's a striker, and these 2 are cams. If I've learned anything about career mode, cams cannot win trophies, as we loaned out this man Evin Telland +6. Chido Obi went West Ham. Then we've got Wheatley who went Newells. Harry Amos went to Pompey in the Championship and did quite well. It's the loanees from Man United. And I don't see Mbuemo winning the, what do you call it? The Ballon d'Or. Winning the Premier League, 29 goals. Oh, sorry, 18 in the Prem. Fernandez got 33. Maybe a hidden shout if we get him played is Chido Obi. Probably too much of a shout, as I love the growth in Ahmad. I love that Bruno Fernandes is still going up. However, Emmy has gone down. Plus, we've lost a goalkeeper on the bench. Joshua Zirkzee, I don't think is a decent keeper. Maybe his hair keeps the ball out, but I don't trust him to be our backup. Same with Agate now, because he's been on that bench not in centre mid for too long. So he's got to get replaced. Plus, we need a cam because Mason Mount left. As much as Ruben Amorim loves him, he did not want to stick around for the fight. As Mbeumo, we need scoring more goals. Plus, he's out of contract this year. And after everybody's been signed up, we lost 90 million, down to 130. However, at this moment in time, I think we are the best team in the world. Despite not winning the Champions League, I think just give us another season and we'll do it. Or maybe another 2 seasons. As you can see, the objectives from Jim Radcliffe is to win everything. Or Jim Radcliffe and the Glazers has hang about. Look at that scout report. Look at that Oliver on top. I don't have any goalkeepers in mind who are linked with Manchester United. This looks like the Hradecki regen, and I'm immediately going to take him on. I think that is one of the luckiest things I've ever spotted. Let's look at him. No, his diving's not good, but as a backup goalkeeper, Alto, fair play. But we need to also get some more players. That was one of the worst jokes I've ever told, as I think a cam would suit me well. And get this, I could not believe it when I actually saw it, but there is rumours of Ethan Nwaneri going to Manchester United. I believe it was part of a swap deal, or maybe not. Maybe Manchester United just wanted an Englishman to hit their English rota. And I'm going to take him on, not as a right wing, or a right mid even, but as a cam. It's going to take him a while, but he's got 88 dribbling. He does have pace and passing, and he's going to replace Christopher Nkunku, but also act as another martyr. If that's the correct word, you know, like a player just to show off to another club with what they're missing. As I'm going to keep Obi around behind Moise Kean. I do think we need more strikers. As Helland, I'm going to probably make a centre-back in order to make sure he gets some game time, as the Community Shield is amongst us. And please, I know we haven't signed defenders, but a goal by Chido Obi means we add another trophy to the cabinet we are collecting with. As this is our Manchester United team. Now, I do see some ratings going down. Martinez and Luke Shaw I was most worried about, but then on the bench, Lenny Yoro, Oliver, and Obi hasn't gone up much. A 79 overall, as our best player looks like Mateus Cunha, and that is not actually a good sign because we don't want him being better than Mbeumo. Strikers only win the Ballon d'Or, as goal-wise, oh my days. Now I'm going to show you this. Look at that. He only played 60 games, did Mbeumo, but 48 goals. Bruno got 45. Cunha got 54. How many goals did we actually score? I mean, we did play 70 games. And look at the goal difference in the league. We scored 139 goals. And they must have been some heavy wins to give us the Premier League title again, obviously. And we just won the Community Shield. And then we won the FA Cup, so there's more games there. We literally played so many. And then the Carabao. We've done a quadruple this season, but we need to be better in Europe in order to get into this Super Cup, as Real Madrid beat us last year, then won that one. As we, oh my days, we did not top the group. I thought we had then. I didn't scroll down. 10th in the league phase. Disappointing, but it means more games. Hence why the players have played a lot, and we actually beat Sporting 4-2. We then beat Atletico de Madrid 2-0 on the night, or over 2 nights in the round of 16, then Juventus 6-2, and then we got more goals against Arsenal in the semi-finals. Please, against Madrid. Yes, we do win the Champions League, leaving now 2 trophies. The Super Cup and the Ballon d'Or, which I think is going to be a very tricky one. The team of the year looks like that, and Mbeumo actually not in it. Isaac and Garassi is. That's not a good sign. Mateus Cunha's also there. My only worry obviously being he's not a striker, but we could make the change. 8 weeks, that's before the Ballon d'Or ceremony. Maybe it squeezes him in there. As Mbeumo's 40 plus goals picked to the post by Isaac and Garassi, who aren't the highest rated. Maybe Mbeumo scored most of his goals outside the Prem, as that was Cunha's record, by the way. 36 games, 36 goals. As our 2 best players in this save actually are ones that have signed permanently for the Red Devils, and we can't change the formation really, so we stuck with this. We stuck with a backup keeper that's going to be better than Martinez. Then we do have a player to replace Luke Shaw when the time comes. I've signed everyone online that I have seen linked to Manchester United, as we've got position changes still to make. Agate to a centre mid. That's took years off my life, as Nwaneri's got 1 week back left till he's a cam, which actually might take him off of because he can't win the Ballon d'Or there. I just want a player capable of doing so as 221 million pounds. And I don't see a player we need. Maybe we do sign another striker. Just in case we don't win the Ballon d'Or this year, we have a player to fall back on. And do we actually play this tactically? Because Kylian Mbappe and Victor Gyökeres, I'm probably going to take him off the list, but Kylian Mbappe I'm actually thinking about, because if we don't win the Ballon d'Or, he's the highest rated striker in the game. Try and play it smart, as we still can't afford him. We'll probably need around 300 million. So I'm going to play this tactically. Moise Kean's never going to get game time or win a Ballon d'Or as a starter, so I'm sending him over back to Atalanta over in Italy, as I must preface this signing saying I would never make it unless there was an objective to reach, and in this case, there is. Kylian Mbappe is a Manchester United player, never something I do in career mode usually, but I'm after that Ballon d'Or. And for now, he actually does start on the bench because we have the Super Cup coming up. We've got Newcastle in the Community Shield, then Chelsea is the team we'll face. And you know who's going to start up front for this. With this being the last team trophy we can win, I have to go with the best team player. And that is the new signing, the Cameroonian, Bryan Mbeumo. Luke Shaw still starts in this final for us, and Chelsea won't be an easy game. Surprised they were in the Europa League, and surprised they're the team we face. And the game's just decided to try and change my camera angle a little bit, as our players do feel a little bit sluggish. I'm not going to say the game's against us, but it hasn't started very well. That ball was meant for Diallo, who inverts onto Bruno. An early goal, please. And that wasn't far off. And I'm wondering, is Jadon Sancho playing for the Blues? Of course, the ex-Manchester United player. We sold on a permanent after his IRL loan. Buyers up front, not Delap as well. That's interesting because Delap almost made the move to United. Then he opted for Chelsea, where I don't think he'll get much more game time. Patrick Dorgu. He's tired, very tired, so we'll give it into Bruno. Bruno can strike from here, and Bruno I thought had scored. Very close as Amad Diallo. We need to get the Ballon d'Or nominee involved. Bryan Mbeumo. Can he get past Trevor Chalobah? Yes, he can. Bryan Mbeumo. Very smart tackle, though, and now we need to pass it to the edge of the box. It's Nkunku. If we shoot here, Nkunku against his former club with the Trivella, trying to get us into the lead. Cross that to the edge of the box, Mbeumo. No, you've definitely lost your winger ability. Now you've gone to striker. It's Leslie Ogachukwu. He carried it away to Cole Palmer, who we put a very rough challenge on against one of the teams that he supported as a kid. Now Malo Gusto. We don't get the tackle in with Dorgu. It's Cole Palmer again, and a big block delict. With his first involvement in the game, Fabian Ruiz spreading a brilliant ball out to Amad Diallo, cutting inside, giving it now onto Christopher Nkunku. Can he redeem himself with a pass? Chipping over the top for Bryan Mbeumo on the return. Christopher Nkunku fell to the man perfectly, and he scores against his former club. A real gamble of a signing, but the gamble that has paid off. As it stands, we're winning every team trophy. Hoping that we get a Ballon d'Or winner. Look at that little header, and it's terrible from their number 3. That is 1-0 to Manchester United. And it was Antonio Silva with the mistake. An actual centre-back I was thinking of signing next because of the Portuguese link with Amorim. A good ball trying to go up to Mbeumo again. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit reluctant to actually play Kylian Mbappe because he hasn't earned the right to be in this finale. That's a good run. Renato Vega is the closest as Mbeumo stings the gloves of De Gregorio. This move is over now. As I was just about to say, it isn't over. The butcherer has to do some butchering. Completely terrible tackle. I was willing to take the red card there because this Diallo kid is fast into Cole Palmer, who strikes the post. As it's almost game done and dusted, we have the ball in our possession, and I'm going to be really scummy with it right here. It's the last trophy. We need to actually win. Diallo, hit that. Shoot. The ball goes out, and that should be the final whistle, and it is. Manchester United win the Super Cup, meaning we have literally one more trophy left to get. As there's the players enjoying themselves for now, but we need Cunha to change to that striker drill. As there he is making the change, and he's now higher rated than Bryan Mbeumo. As if we don't win the Ballon d'Or with these 5 strikers or 6 at the club, we just need a Ballon d'Or winner. As there's the short list, no Cunha, Mbappe, Mbeumo, Moise Kean, and Goncalves. They are the nominees, and I said Moise Kean would never win it. Fair play to him getting a nomination, but it is Bryan Mbeumo, the real-life Manchester United signing, walking up them golden steps. It's even Eric Cantona giving him the trophy. This is absolutely poetry in motion, as that means we have completed every trophy. And I've really enjoyed, as I always do, rebuilding Manchester United. A little soft spot, not a huge one, but I do like them in the Premier League. As if you want to see any more Prem teams done, leave them in the comments, or any team. I will look through them all. Don't forget to like and click here for more videos.